everybody to the Tuesday show. My name is James Chen, and we are here with Mr. Ultra David, Mr. Tubaware for another week of busy fighting game stuff.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah,
we're going to be talking about actual fighting games again. It's amazing.
Yeah.
What a time. What a time this is. We're going to be talking about the Guilty Gear Strive beta, which just ended. You guys played a ton of it. We'll talk a lot about it. Street Fighter V Season 5. We'll talk a lot about that. There have been a ton of changes going on in that video game that we'll get to. Very exciting. The CPT season final we'll talk about from over the past weekend. Then we will have an interview with RobTV, who was at that season final, and we'll talk with him about that and SFL and content, whatever. We'll talk about the Japanese fighting game developers roundtable number 2 and all the news that came out of it, because a lot of news came out of it. We'll talk about some other game news, including stuff that literally just happened as we were going live.
Right
now. It's actually just right now. Some other community news, and then we'll get to the mailbag. You may notice that we don't have the 5-5 matchup up today, and that's because even though we called for submissions, there's just too much to talk about. Is the issue. So we're going to postpone the submissions that we got for this week to next week. So that'll just be stuff for next week, I guess. But yeah, let's begin by talking about the Guilty Gear Strive beta. It was, for the past week, basically, for James, and for Tubaware, it was the past several days. And for me, it was about 20 minutes on Saturday. Anyway, let's talk all about it.
yeah. So, I mean, obviously Street Fighter V has been some big news here, but we're going to roll back that topic to number 2. So let's talk about Guilty Gear Strive here instead. I almost kind of want to listen to you guys talk about it first, because I'm just going to have nothing but effusive praise for it. And
You're going to be gushing.
Do you think I'm going to be any different?
Well, because the thing is, for me, like, I have franchise bias, right? I mean, that's just it. I love Guilty Gear. I'm always gonna be approaching everything they do a little more positively, so I just need to make sure that that's established ahead of time. I'm always going to be favorable to whatever Guilty Gear does. And so, yeah, I mean, I'll just straight up say it. I loved everything about it. I miss it. Anyways, you guys go, and then I'll just tack on whatever.
All right. Well, I think we're both just going to say nothing but nice things. All three of us, probably.
I don't
nice
think
things
that's
about this game.
Nope.
But anyways, I want to be the first to say, James, I told you so about the shitty lobbies. I told you so. Yeah. It doesn't work. It's terrible. It's awful. Everyone hated it.
No, I mean,
the lobbies are awful. They're terrible.
Can you run the timer, by the way? We
We need to be on
We gotta be on the timer today. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I like I said, the lobbies were shitty, and I said if they implemented it right, they could be something cool, and they didn't implement it right.
Yeah, fair, but like I thought it was pretty clear in the first beta last year that that it wasn't going to work. They had already made their choice, and
yeah,
when when that many players are playing at once, their servers just couldn't handle it.
Yeah,
there was 30 seconds of lag after you hit a button. It was awful.
Yeah,
but I don't know why they wanted to do that.
That's less lobby, but that's more server problems, right? That lag was a server kind of issue.
Yeah, but I mean, like, they should have known ahead of time the type of server power they would need if the entire world is playing the game. That's on them.
Theoretically, but what fighting game in recent memory has had a beta that hasn't been destroyed by this?
Well, what fighting game in recent memory had netcode this damn good? Right. Because as bad as the lobbies were, that's as good as the netcode is. It's insanely... I can't even describe being able to play anyone in the world at any time. Any
somebody
place.
like you who has had a lot of experience on Killer Instinct, which of course has one of the best netcodes ever, how would you compare these?
Guilty Gear's better.
Is that true?
Guilty Gear's better, for sure. For sure it's better. Absolutely, positively, for sure it's better than KI. Sorry, KI players. I mean, KI's netcode is amazing too, but this is better.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you see like Midwest to Japan in KI, it's laggy. There's rollbacks.
Yeah. Yeah.
I played tons of Japanese players. Not a single rollback, not one. I felt like I was playing offline. Like it's incredible. I didn't know this was possible. I thought KI Skullgirls was the limit. Like this just completely blew me away all weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I did not play a single match online that felt bad. Not one. So I might be an outlier because I didn't play as many matches as some other people. But literally, I never saw a rollback. I never felt any lag or delay. I think there was one match that I saw where like all of a sudden it froze and it said like reconnecting and then it came back. But like that was one match out of like maybe 100 matches that I played. And honestly, it just I played against people in Korea. I played against somebody in Europe. I played against somebody in Japan, you know, all day, and I just never felt anything bad. And
it's amazing.
I was curious whether that would stay the same once they opened up the beta to everybody. Because just during the phase where it was influencers,
right,
I assume those people are more likely to have wired connections, more likely to have good internet as well. But then when it comes to everybody, you guys still had good experiences?
Yeah. It didn't change. It didn't change at all.
I mean, I never at one point remembered I was playing online. There was never anything that reminded me that I was playing online in any of the matches that I played. It's just like you're just playing. When you play other fighting games, you know, you're playing, oh, God dang it, like this annoying thing.
Yeah.
I mean, in fact, I was playing a bunch offline with Olaf because, you know, he's my roommate, so we don't have to social distance or whatever because we see each other every day. Like, we were playing at one point, and he kept using Leo and doing the cross-up behind thing and hitting me, and I couldn't block it in time. And I made the joke, I was like, man, this stupid online lag, like, you know. And he started dying, but like that's just how I felt. It's like there's no point in time when like between playing Olaf and between playing online that it felt any different. It was like the exact same thing the entire time, and I like, oh gosh, you know, it just made the game that much more fun. Like knowing that everything that was happening I could attribute to actual fighting gameplay as opposed to maybe it was laggy and maybe that's why I couldn't do this, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there was never a moment where I thought I got cheated, I got hit by something that I shouldn't have. Which it's hard to feel, or it's hard to explain that in fighting games when, you know, you've been playing offline seriously for so long and you're used to playing offline, and even like the really great netcodes out there games, like you know you're online. Training mode to online felt exactly the same to me. I didn't have anyone to play in person, but I'll take James' word for it, you know.
That's amazing.
It really is. That's the thing is, I can actually say it because I played more against Olaf than I did against, you know, people online. But every time I went back to online, everything I was doing felt exactly the same. It felt... Yeah,
I think most people probably don't have that experience of being able to play somebody both at home and online. So that's really good to have somebody who does have that. My experience was actually also both offline and online. So when I was doing the season final for Capcom, which we'll talk about later, I brought my PS4. So that was actually an offline commentary. All the matches were online, but the commentary was offline, and it happened to be in Burbank, like 20 minutes away from where I live, so it was easy for me to get there. And I took my PS4 setup and all the guys there, and we played for a little while.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. In fact, the other guys like Steve and Vicious were grinding it like almost the whole time.
Right.
But anyway, so I did play there, and I played online.
Street Fighter. Shh, I'm playing Guilty Gear.
100%. 100%. Yeah. And so I played offline there, and I felt it, and then I played online, and I too didn't notice any difference. I only played a few matches online. I think I had 3 total matches online. That's it. So I just didn't have very much time to do it, unfortunately. But in those matches, felt totally the same. It really did.
Cool. So your experience was the same then. Okay.
It was the same. Yeah. I wanted to wait to hear you guys because I just didn't have as much time, either offline or online, as either one of you did.
I played a ton. I probably played like, I don't know, 15 hours, 20 hours.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
I grinded.
Yeah. I mean, I can't. I mean, it's funny because a lot of people joke like, "Oh, Sajam was right all along." Of course, he was right all along. Like, I don't understand why people like. It's so crazy to me. And this is where a lot of Street Fighter V's poorly implemented rollback netcode has done us so much harm. Is that it kind of gave people fuel to believe that rollback wasn't the way to go. But clearly,
it's just weird because there's so many good examples out there.
Yeah,
there's so many good examples out there, but I mean, I do understand the name power of Street Fighter.
Yeah, so. Exactly, and it's just like, oh man, I can't like it. Even outside of the gameplay, right? I mean, obviously, I've been having a lot of fun with Soul Calibur recently, because of the Parsec stuff, but this was the first time like I had that grind mentality. Like I just don't want to stop this, I just don't want to stop playing this song. I want to play everybody. I'm running through the lobby, let me challenge you, let me challenge you, let me challenge you, like it was like there was this joy that I had. And obviously a lot of it does, like I said, come from my franchise bias and how much I love Guilty Gear because even from a gameplay standpoint, it's very different than previous Guilty Gears. But not enough different that it still didn't feel like Guilty Gear. And oh my god, like gameplay wise, I was in heaven, dude. I mean, I was like in heavenly Potemkin Buster, right? I mean, like that. Oh god, I was having so much.
It was really great to watch you, actually. So although I didn't have that much time to play, I watched both of you guys, and a bunch of other people play as well. And I could tell, like James, sometimes when you stream, you get frustrated easily, as you know. And this was, well, he knows. This was not one of those situations. It was really fun to watch. Like you were clearly having a blast the whole time, and it was so cool to watch people from East Asia through NA, through Europe, through LATAM, all over the place, playing against each other. It reminds me of like in like a Godzilla movie where all the monsters are like convening from all these different parts across the world, right? They're like all going to the same spot from this side of the Pacific and from the Atlantic and from where they're all just like, for them, the world is so small because they're so huge. That's like the conception that I got of you battling all these monsters everywhere. It was so sick to watch.
We could legit run like international tournaments on this. Like that's how I feel about it. Like I literally think we could run international tournaments on this and it would be fine. Like if this is what the future of netcode is in fighting games, like online is 100% legit. Like no one is going to be able to say anything about it anymore. If we can all do it this way, it's I like I said, I can't even explain it. Like I said, I'm my opinion is also a little bit skewed because I was having so much joy playing the game. Except like Tiny Tech says in the chat, Nago versus Ram is not a fun fight. Oh god, that's a bad fight. But outside of that, like it's just oh man. Like
I wanted to highlight. Oh, go on.
No, I played some matches that I didn't stream either. I actually went online. I changed my name and everything like that just to Smurf, and I played a bunch of Nago matches online as well. And oh god, it wasn't even just Potemkin. I was having fun with Nagoriyuki as well, and so it's just like everything was just such a blast when I was playing online. And like I said, I mean having a game that like a modern game that plays to my tastes and to my tendencies and to my play style. Oh god, it felt so good.
I like this tweet from Zynak. He had a tweet a few days ago. The text of it entirely is, "We changed the world." I think is so cool. What a great tweet from him. Of course, he's somebody who helped work on the netcode for this, and by all accounts has had like a significant impact in why it even happened in the first place. So that's super cool.
Doesn't want to take credit at all though. He's tweeted
Yeah.
very clearly that it wasn't easily, it's not me, it was us, you know. Very,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
we're a team mentality.
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah. We changed the world, not I changed the world. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
But that makes sense. It's
Hey,
just
come on. There is an I in Zynak. It's okay.
super, super cool.
Yeah.
As far as the online play goes, I'm sad that I couldn't stream because I thought that the name that I picked, which was Married Jew Wanna, was actually amazing. And then nobody else ever got to see it except for me. Married Jew Wanna, it's so good. Oh, nobody will ever know.
Oh god, man.
What a waste. What a waste. What a waste. As far as the rest of the game goes, so I did play the lobbies. Like I said, I played 3 times, and I had the same experience everybody else had. I didn't try to meet up with a friend. That sounded like it might have been also annoying, but just like trying to find another match, like I'm teleporting around this physical area, and so are other people, and I don't know if I have my sword out or if they have their sword out or whatever. It just was, it was not good.
Yeah.
It was not good.
Yeah. The lobby
I had
system.
a lot of success getting matches in training mode, though. That was more successful than trying to run around the lobby or put up my sword or whatever. And also, I got to grind while I was waiting, so it was convenient. That's what I pretty much just relied on, was waiting in training mode.
Yeah, nobody likes the lobby.
One of the biggest problems, like I said, the lobby could be good. They just implemented it badly. In fact, I mean, they're asking for feedback. I'm going to do the same thing. Obviously, it's too late to give any feedback because the game's coming out in a month. But hopefully through patches they can tweak the lobby system a little bit, because the way the lobby system works right now is unacceptable. It is absolutely although they did say that the rematch option was intentionally not put in to force us to play different people. Putting a rematch option there will help, because then you don't have to sit there and go, who's gonna sword up again? Why am I stuck here? Blah blah blah. Like it was unacceptable how it was, and I admit that. Like I said, I think that there was potential for it to be good, but it wasn't. It was awful.
I hear that. Yeah. Well, we'll see what they do on that end. Are you guys in the chat serious? You don't think Mary Juana is genius? I can't.
No, it's terrible. That's so obvious.
I don't
get it. It's so genius.
I don't even get it. I don't even get it.
What? How do you not get it? I can't. All right, we're moving on.
100%. I don't know what the hell it means.
We're moving on. Let's talk about
I would never dodge you. You can see me day one. Come catch these dolphins.
Let's talk about the gameplay itself. Again, I didn't have that much experience with it. I enjoyed the little that I did. I think I played 3 games of Potemkin and maybe 2 of Axel, and that was about it. Really almost nothing at all. So I enjoyed watching it. It looks like a super sick game. I just can't really speak from personal experience. So up to you guys. What you think?
I haven't felt this much fun playing a fighting game since Vanilla Marvel 3 came out.
Yeah.
So
that's high praise.
Yeah. So yeah, I really, 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 really like this game, and I feel like if you're a Marvel player, there's no way you shouldn't like this game.
Okay.
It was so good to move. The dash button, the dash macro, just makes the game so much fun to play. Everybody has good movement now. It's great. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Honestly, you've never had to use a dash macro. I wasn't using it that much, but it is something you should learn. You should 100% learn to use the dash macro, and there's actually argument to be able to have the RC as a macro as well, Roman cancel as a macro, because Potemkin backdash into forward Roman cancel drift is so much easier with the macro buttons, so you can backdash forward and then plink the 2 buttons, and you get invincible pass through, instant pop buster. Oh, it's so dumb. But anyway, we'll get into characters in a little bit. But, I mean, for me, look, as a person who's played a lot of Guilty Gear games, is it different? It is definitely different, right? It definitely feels different. I personally don't like the limitations on Gatling, right? It feels bad. However, that's because we have a legacy to come from, especially one that's lasted for almost 20 years, like a 20-year legacy now, practically. Maybe even longer than that now. I don't even remember when the first Guilty Gear came out.
I think it was 90s, yeah.
Yeah, we have this legacy to compare it to. If this game came out as it were, everybody would be like, whatever, let's just do. And like, even me trying to find combos, like I was trying to find Milia combos and I was trying to do all these dash combos, but then you go see what everybody has found. They're finding all these air dash combos and they land and relaunch and do it again and land and relaunch. Like, like land and relaunch wasn't really much of a Guilty Gear thing before, and so like I wasn't finding those kind of combos. So while I do think the Gatling is restrictive, I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people think it is. I think we'll get used to it over time. There's a lot of logic to it. We can't just hit confirm everything off of lights anymore and all this stuff like that. So I don't mind that. So outside of that, like my favorite thing about the game right now is that this is like the game. Like Dragon Ball came close to it, but Guilty Gear Strive is the first game in a long time that I think makes the player feel powerful. Like they make the person playing the game feel like a god when things are happening, and it's why I like the damage. It's why I like the combo meter, which I wouldn't even see while I was playing. It's why I like the giant counter text, you know, that kind of thing. But like when you get these like RC cancels into Pop Buster, or when Chip runs up the wall and starts comboing someone while he's running up against the wall, when you knock people through the corner and the shatter with this nice big old hit at the end, everything feels so good about the game, and that's been missing for a long time, and I love it. I was feeling powerful again as I was playing the game, and I've missed that so much.
Yeah, I mean, James said there's like that when things happen, you feel like a god. I was playing Keats, and I had a sick counter confirm that I never practiced. I just did it on the fly, and I literally was like, I am fucking godlike. He's like, well, tell me how you really feel. It's like, yeah, this game is so sick. Like that was like the moment where I was like, okay, this is the game. This game is sick. I'm in there. So yeah, everything James said. I can't even add anything. Like I miss it. I want it now. I need it in my life. I'm having withdrawals.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a little while.
Ugh.
I mean,
don't say that.
And the thing about it is, too, you can see it right now. There's so many people coming from all the different games and trying out the beta, and everybody's enjoying it. So the Daisuke's goal of not making it super legacy game, I think actually kind of worked. You know, I feel like it's able to pull a lot more people in this way because it is kind of new. Like I said, all my legacy habits aren't necessarily working, yet I still know enough about the characters and how Mega Fist works and stuff like that I can jump in there. But at the same time, I'm learning new stuff. Other people come in are learning new stuff. I mean, people say the game is simplified, but you get the freaking RC drift and start throwing that into everything. People are putting,
not that simple.
It doesn't seem that simple to me.
Yeah.
No, it's not even a little bit.
People are using RC drifts for fuzzy guards now and all this other stuff.
Faultless defense and stuff too. Like the game is gonna be so deep. Like, so it's a Guilty Gear game, man. I don't care what people want to say. It's a Guilty Gear game.
I agree.
For sure.
Yeah. So
it definitely seems complicated to me. The little time that I spent with it, I remember trying to use from the previous beta things like character cancels and so I tried to also incorporate RC shift, and again, just a few games, and I got stomped by somebody online who absolutely knew what they were doing, and it was the kind of loss where, like, I got stomped and I thought it was sick the whole time. Right. I was like, that's actually so cool that you can do what you just did. This Soul player was ruining me and doing all these really cool things while doing it.
Right.
It was actually fun.
Oh man. But yeah.
One cool thing too that I think kind of like shows that it might have this like larger reach, like you were just talking about, was that on Twitch, as I was watching it briefly during the weekend, it had over 40,000 people watching simultaneously, which is really rare for fighting games. I checked before we went live here, and Street Fighter was like 5 to 10,000, something like that, and it just has a brand new patch that came out yesterday. You know what I mean? Like that's other games that I care about are like 500, 1,000. Like, you know, that's where fighting games are. And even if this is just the hype of a beta, you know, Max has 15,000 of that or whatever it is, even still, that is a really, really cool sign, I think.
Yeah, and you know, like, obviously, I just think from a viewer standpoint, the counter hit stuff and, you know, even the combo meter is kind of viewer friendly. You know what I mean? Like, I think, I mean, some people are saying that the biggest problem with it is that it's ugly. The font they chose, the colors and stuff like that. That's definitely legitimate. The font is really boring and all this stuff, but the fact that the beat is just like, very white, and so it doesn't actually jump out. Like I said, when I was playing the game, I never saw the combo meter. I never saw the combo meter while I was playing at all, like ever. Now, granted, I don't notice a lot of crazy things. Other people may have, maybe it stuck out to them while they're playing. But as I was playing, I never saw it. And I just think from a viewer standpoint, as silly as it seems and as much as we want to meme on it and everything like that, I think it'll just start making people laugh and people having a good time. It's something for the viewer to be engaged on. You know what I mean? It's like it gives viewer engagement, which is what I think is kind of neat about it. So
let's talk about these characters. What do you guys think? Who's good? Who sucks? Who's the worst? Who needs to be nerfed? Who's too good?
I want to be clear. We can't say nerfed. This is not a release version of the game. The build we're playing is probably several months old.
Yeah.
These are not buffs and nerfs. But in this iteration of the game that we got to play, I think Ram and Milia were both very clearly strong. Potemkin is very clearly strong. And maybe like Saul and Leo. And then there's everyone else. But no one was bad. No one is bad. Everybody's scary. Everybody can kill you in 3 to 4 hits at most. Some only need 2. Some only need 1 if you're fighting against Chip. So, I think the game, if it released like that, it would be fine. But I don't know.
I feel like Faust might have been the only character that I felt might have needed a little buff. But to be fair, the only characters I played Faust against were Ramlethal and Potemkin, who are clearly 2 of the best characters in the game right now. I do think Potemkin is suffering from grappler syndrome right now. I do think that he's a little stronger than people think, and that, people are scared of...
Not as strong?
I mean, people are scared of Hammer Fist, but that is so throwable. And I understand now why Hammerfall Break is as slow as it is. Because if in previous games he was like, brr, and he's done. Like the break was like 5 frames or something already. But now he's like, brr, and he stops. So you can throw Hammerfall. The problem with it is right now, Mega Fist is super good. I think Mega Fist is kind of busted. A lot of people probably weren't even Kara Mega Fisting. You can actually Kara cancel 6K into Mega Fist by doing quarter circle forward, plink kick into slash, kick slap, kick into punch, and he like goes like 1.5 times faster, farther than he normally does. Like there was a lot of crazy things, and honestly, the one aspect of Potemkin I don't like, and I know both David and I don't like this kind of aspect of a grappler. He kind of felt like HDR Zangief to me, in a bad way. It was just basically,
shuddering.
I'm a screen away, I'm going to slide head, I'm going to hammerfall, or I'm going to mega fist, or I'm going to jump and double jump. And it's just like, I'm just going to pick one. And if you're trying to, it's like, it's impossible to keep track of all of them. And so Potemkin is going to get in on you. And that was probably my only complaint about him. And again, this is me using him, but at the same time.
I like that you say, I think maybe Potemkin had just a little bit of grappler syndrome where he's not so good. And then you compare him to the best version of Zangief that ever happened.
Yeah, who won EVO.
Come on, man.
The EVO winning Zangief.
Fair. But that's why, like, I put out that tweet. I put out anti-Potemkin strats because I don't want him to get nerfed, because I don't think he's going to end up as strong after some time, after people start figuring out how to play him. Maybe lower the damage on Potbuster a little bit. But outside of that, I don't know if there's really anything they need to change with him, because like Tuba was saying, like you were saying, like, so many of the characters are good in this game. Like, they're strong.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Ram and Milia, I think in particular. Milia's playing her own game. She's not playing, she's playing Xrd still. Mm-hmm. Like the way she moves and her air confirms are ridiculous. Mm-hmm. I played some Milia that air to aired me for like 40% every time that she met me in the air. It was no meter, no RC, just here, you eat it, May.
Yep.
So I think those, in my mind in particular, stick out. But yeah, like Saul, Kai, even Faust, May, of course. Like every single character, Nagoriyuki, everybody had something that was scary about them. Like I never matched with someone and I was like, oh, I can't wait to play against this character. That's an easy win. That never happened once. So I think that's a really good thing, actually.
Yeah.
I would rather have everybody be super powerful than nerfing things down.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I don't want Pot to get nerfed. I want other people to be buffed. And this game is spastic and crazy and like overpowered enough that I think it can manage itself. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel like that would. I mean, even if it did make a degenerate game, I mean, are we going to sit here and pretend Marvel 3 and Marvel 2 aren't degenerate games? And
right, exactly.
Right?
Well, those are the games that have the same kind of thing, where each decision feels like it produces like a huge result. Right. In Marvel 3, Marvel 2 is like that. I feel like in retrospect, most of the games that I've really, really liked over my fighting game career have had that kind of big impact. When it's time to do something cool, you can absolutely do something cool. You can put your personality into the game in games like that. And again, I didn't get that much time to play it, but the time that I did play it and the time that I watched it gave me that same sense too.
Yeah. I kind of agree. So I think Pot, Ram were super good. I actually strangely never fought any Mays. And I actually never...
Why didn't you just ask me to play, James?
Oh, were you a May player? Okay.
I didn't play a single other character the whole day.
Okay, because I heard May is kind of... People are saying May is kind of degenerate as well, but, you know...
Yeah, she's absolutely a Tupperware character. This is the most Tupperware character since Sprash, for sure.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought Kai was super good. Kai is like freaking autopilot the character. Like, he just...
Man, his buttons are... Ooh.
All Kai players are idiots from James Chen's mouth.
Dude, I played Kai without having ever touched him against, like, I forgot who it was. Like, I forgot who... it was Olaf's Nago. And, like, I was just doing stuff. But I feel like that was a bad matchup. To be fair, I actually think Nago needs some buffs. I actually think Nagoriyuki needs some buffs. He might... Although I don't think he's bad in any way, shape, or form. Don't get me wrong. Like, I don't think, like, God, he wasn't good. I was using him, and I was still winning a lot of my matches online and stuff. Maybe one or two small, very tiny things. Like, the first time you use a special move, you don't add to the blood meter. It's only when you cancel into each other or something like that. But something like that. And that's all it needs, right? Because when he touches you, you die. Like, that's the beautiful thing about that character, right? I mean, you just lose all your life, and every time you hit people with him, it feels good. Oh, man, it feels good. But honestly, yeah, so back to what I was saying. Pot, Ram, apparently May. I think Kai is really good. I'm surprised because some people were saying that they thought Giovanna was really strong, and I thought she was a little bit on the weaker side. But I'm glad to hear people saying that she felt strong to them. Milia, Tubo saying Milia. So it just feels like everybody was pretty good. Like I said, my only thing was Faust, and I was playing against Pot and Ram. And Ram, oh god, Ramlethal is a problem, but that's another thing. So.
All right, closing thoughts. Guilty Gear Strive is godlike. I can't wait for it to come out. Inject it right in my veins.
Even for Faust, I watched a bunch of Nerd Josh, and he was actually pretty positive about the character.
Oh yeah,
Sajam thought he was scary too.
Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, looking forward to this. It comes out in April on April 9th, and I'll have it before you guys because my local mom and pop will hopefully have it early. I'm so hopeful.
I'm an influencer. Maybe they'll give me a copy early too.
That's true. James is an influencer.
Dang. Influencer life, huh? Interesting.
Soul was really good too. Soul 6H is ridiculous. Soul 6H is the move that punishes everything because it reaches half a screen and is like 3 frames or something stupid like that. But yeah, sorry. I just wanted to.
Let's do it. Okay. We're trying to keep to this timetable down here.
Stick to the time.
We got a lot of stuff to talk about.
All right.
Street Fighter V Season 5 is the next thing that we're going to be talking about. And again, there's a ton to say about this. We know now what V-Shift is like. We have all the balance changes. Dan is out. Wow.
I guess that's cool.
Dude, he's so sick. Let's start by talking about the new mechanic, about V-Shift, and we can talk about the balance changes and Dan after that.
Talk about it.
So the way that it works is you press medium kick plus fierce, and your character does its backdash, essentially. And it seems like it's just the same as the backdash. And as you're doing it, you're invincible. You can do it on wake up. It's instant. At the end of it, you have recovery frames, so you can actually get crushed at the end of it. But there is this like pretty significant time of invulnerability. I think it's 1 through 10, frames 1 through 10, if I recall correctly, which means that no, that's the after that you can then do V-shift break, which is the follow-up if you have V-shifted through somebody else's attack.
Right.
And that V-shift break is where you then have 10 more frames of invul until the second active frame of the V-shift break. Yeah. And then V-shift breaks are -2 on block. What do you got?
No, I was just about to say, one thing I will say about V-shift break, I don't remember like how they described to do it. I mean, for me, it's holding the buttons down, right? I've seen some people try to tap it, but hold the buttons down is the best way to do V-break. But
yeah, I mean, they both work.
I mean, honestly, when I first saw the mechanic, a lot of people were talking about like, oh my gosh, this seems so good, blah, 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 blah. It looked like a backdash to me. I just figured it was going to be punishable like towards the end. I didn't think it was going to be super broken and like people trying to V-shift all day in bad locations are just going to be burning through their V-gauge all day. So I think right now its most powerful ability is blowing up very common strings, right? Like, for example, the biggest one that I saw was EX Chariot Tackle, right? You can block the first one and then just V-shift through the second hit. There's nothing he can do about that. I was worried because you can V-shift between crouching medium kick into light burn kick with Lucia. So I thought Lucia would be dead. But if Lucia just does crouching medium kick, nothing. It's weirdly hard to react to it. If you could V-shift while holding down back, it would have been super easy. But forcing yourself to go to neutral instead of left and right makes it weird. I don't know. There's something about it that like...
I agree.
I like that a lot, actually. I like that you can't just option select block and V-shift. Right, you have to get the timing right on it. Not that it's so difficult to time, but, you know, it is a little bit harder than if you were able to block at the same time. So as far as how it's impacting stuff, I still think it's pretty up in the air. But having played a little bit now and watched a little bit now, talked with a few other people about it, yeah, I think that it's strong without being too strong is kind of my sense of it, that you're going to have to use it in knowledgeable situations.
Yeah,
it's
useful.
It's useful. It's absolutely useful. But that there are still things that you should probably just block. You should still just take the throw in some situations. You should still just block and then V reversal in some situations. You could just raw backdash instead in some situations, or just, you know, throw tech backdash or whatever. Like stuff like that we've already been doing, I think is still definitely useful. And it's not, people at least that I've played against and watched haven't been just mashing on it. And if they did, then I feel like, okay,
you win.
Yeah, then that's, at least in some matchups, totally fine. If I'm playing against a G player and they're using V-shift all the time, fantastic. Like, this is actually the best. This is the best. If it's a Colleen or a Cody or whatever, somebody who has a very dangerous V-trigger, totally cool.
Yeah.
If it's some other characters, then, you know, they maybe can do that a little bit more frequently. But, you I think, should be sparing with it, is my initial read on it, that it's something that you should... that you should view as strong without being too strong, again.
What I really like about it is there's plenty of counterplay against it. I even said it last week before it came out. Like, I don't think, like, there was the clip where they showed Ryu do standing light punch and the guy V-shifted through it and then tried to V-break, and then Ryu V-shifted the V-break and punished him. You know, what I like about this is it kind of powers up the light buttons and forces you, for example, in some block strings to switch up to light attacks. Like, they block crouching strong, you can throw out a jab. If they V-shift it, they V-shift it, but they can't punish you now because you just threw out a light punch. And in some cases, you know, depending on what their timing is, I don't know if you can punish it if they actually V-shift it, probably not. But whatever the case is, they can't hit you. And so you got them to use that meter for basically essentially nothing. There's ways to bait it out. You know, I mean, it has killed V reversal a lot because now a lot of people can, you know, when they block the V reversal, they can V shift it now and kill it. But whatever, V reversals were, you know, okay.
I mean, you could already V reversal a V reversal, right?
Right. Exactly. But again, I don't think it impacted the game enough, but not overwhelmingly. So I think it's like in the perfect spot right now. I think it's perfect. It will definitely show its head. People will definitely. There was that one clip where the Cammy actually V-shifted Sonic Boom and supered him, which was crazy. So there's going to be some jank situations, but overall, I think it's not bad. I really don't think it's that big of a problem.
Yeah, I honestly think we're just going to see some really big brain plays with it in tournament. It's going to be really cool, and I think that's what Capcom meant it to be, honestly.
I do think that it blows up some stuff. Like, I think that Honda Butt Slam, EX Butt Slam, is difficult to use. That's going to be character specific, of course, and like maybe I'm okay with taking the gray damage of a V-shift break or whatever if I can, you know, make the opponent not have V bar. I don't know, it's something I have to think about. But for other things, the solutions are not as obvious, I guess, or whether you should use V-shift is not as obvious, or V-shift break. For example, on Honda hands, I was worried you just would always, just as the defender, just always V-shift out of there.
Right.
But that's actually not really true. There's a timing with jab hands where the opponent can V-shift through and then punish, because you're, you know, kind of still whiffing stuff there, and then they can punish you for doing that. But if you instead did medium or fierce hands, they can't do that, so now they have to do V-shift break. But if you do jab hands and they did V-shift into V-shift break, you can actually be okay. So that's not as good as it was before for Honda, right? Like there's this extra mind game in there, but like it also didn't destroy the stuff that he had.
I mean,
so, and I think for other characters, it's going to be. Yeah, we'll talk about the balance changes in a bit.
And then Honda got buffed anyway.
He's okay. He's doing all right. And for the other characters that I care about, I think it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things, I mean, it's taken 6 years for them to do this, but they've finally started trying to add more presentation stuff into the game. The slowdown on V-Shift, I think, will get viewers excited. They added little mini zoom-ins on certain moves now, you know, and I think they look kind of neat. I don't mind them at all, so I like it. I'm glad that they're trying to put more aesthetically exciting stuff in the game, because I feel like that's been one of Street Fighter V's biggest weakness as a spectator game, is that visually it's not an exciting game. You know what I mean? That's what I love about Strive. Strive is beautiful and it's just like in your face, and Street Fighter is just so there. You know what I mean? It's just like, hey, we're here. Yeah, like I didn't feel like that there was enough.
Listen here, Capcom guy, you better calm down, or they're gonna change your status to like, guilty gear guy. Okay.
I just felt like the presentation wasn't strong enough. I've talked about this for years, comparing Tekken and Street Fighter V. How Tekken just like updated everything. So I think it's important.
Well, I'm interested to see how this evolves, but let's talk about the balance changes now. Every character got some stuff. There were some game-wide things, including the fact that now light attacks as anti-airs just kind of don't work if not used in exactly the right moment, because characters who are jumping in will actually be invulnerable in the lower part of their hurt box to anti-air light attack. That's a big one. That is a big change. It's like it's not even taking a hammer for the solution. It's like using a bunch of dynamite to just explode the idea of jab anti-airs.
Right.
Which for many characters is not that big of a deal, but for other characters is like pretty tough news.
Sucks to suck, Dawson.
Yes, it does suck to suck, Dawson. Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely one of those weird changes, because they've never coded a change like that before, where now they've created hurt boxes that are invul to certain strength attacks. Like, They've had it so that it was invul jumps, invul grounded moves, invul projectiles, but now they're just like, nope, light bunches can't hit this hurt box, and they added a whole new hurt box category in there, and there you go. And, I mean, I don't like. At first, I was like, okay, I could see that's kind of a cool change, but then, yeah, characters like Dhalsim that rely on that light punch are really screwed.
I don't want to overplay it too much. You still can do anti-air jabs. It just has to be timed a little bit differently. But there's a specific timing, because I tested this, where characters whose jump attacks don't really hit the ground very well, but nevertheless, that puts them in this state where they're invul to jab anti-airs, at least for the bottom part of their hurt box. So you can get these weird interactions where, like, Dim is pressing stand jab, and Fang is falling with jump strong or whatever, and it just doesn't touch they just phase through each other because one's invincible to the other and the other one doesn't hit the other. It's just anyway, it's pretty weird.
Oh man.
I don't want to overstate it though. And then as far as the characters, man, there are some significant winners, and I think I don't know if they're significant losers, but there are certainly some losers. So does anybody stand out to you guys as characters to highlight for this?
Big winner, I think, obviously, is Ryu. Welcome to the game. You've been there?
Yeah. He hasn't been in the game since something like 2016, 2015, something like that.
Personally, I think Balrog and Honda got pretty buffed. I thought their changes were quite interesting. Rashid took an L, Urian took an L, Guile took an L. Everyone else, I think, got buffed.
I mean,
I don't know. I honestly didn't check on Lucia because I was waiting to hear what James had. I straight up didn't even look at her changes.
No.
Sagat, like Zaf is just laughing. Like Zaffarino on his stream was just like doing stuff, and he's like, I can't believe they gave me this. So I think Sagat is kind of a winner. I've also seen a lot of positivity from Alex players. Like the light.
Alex looks scary to me now, man. I didn't think he was that horrible before, and now he looks pretty good.
Nobody was horrible, right? Nobody was horrible.
Yeah.
But they did make stuff better. What's cool about what they did with him is that they didn't just. I feel like the easy route is like, all right, he gets to snowball on command grab, right? Just make his command grab actually. But they didn't do that. They were like, here's some other buffs, to other things that I think are good. Yeah.
No,
preserving a little bit of his distinctiveness.
I mean, obviously people are wondering about Lucia. The thing about Lucia is I really honestly just don't think that they know anything about the character. They don't know what to do with her. She got only buffs, right? Only got buffs, but they just made what was good about her better. They didn't really address any of her weaknesses. The one significant buff she got was EX up kicks now gives you Oki. That is huge, right? Because that combos off of crouching medium kick, etc., etc. But they made it so that you can do a regular firecracker into an EX flipper shot, so you can confirm for longer combos. They gave her sweep a little bit better range, but made it more punishable. It's 1 frame faster. But honestly, they even in their notes, because shout outs to Capcom, by the way, for the much better patch notes, right? They're really good. They're really good. They even had paragraphs talking about what they thought. And literally in Lucia's paragraph, it's like, we noted that she has trouble in mid-range versus character with longer range moves. And they did nothing to solve that. I'm like, what?
Well, have you ever thought, James, that maybe they know this stuff, they just want her to be weak in these areas?
Yeah, I mean that's theoretically could be true, but
I'm sure they're aware. I mean they get to collect all the data. Yeah, they even said it, and then they didn't do anything about it. Right. So clearly they know. They just are like, that's Lucia. Yeah, enjoy.
I don't understand the decision, to be honest with you. She's gonna be better than she was before. And I feel like she can be a strong character in the hands of a strong player. But again, that strong player using a different character would probably be even stronger. Let's just put it that way. It's just whether you like her style and, you have that character affinity with her. Because, I have a 8 frame heavy punch that doesn't reach as far as my standing medium kick, which has shorter range than Akuma's standing medium punch, which by the way is bufferable and plus on block, and mine is not bufferable and it's -2 on block. Or I can use Cammy with a 7 frame heavy punch that combos into a drill and gives me Oki every single time. There's just, like, to me, if you want to play Lucia, you're doing it because you like the character and you like the style, not because she's going to give you the best chance to win. So that's just, like, how I feel about her. So it's just kind of made me sad that they didn't really give her what I felt like she needed. They didn't fix things like people falling through her EX uppercut, stuff like that.
It's always going to be like that, though. There's no patch that I've ever seen that does what I think should be done with the character. Right. Even if they end up buffing the character. Like for Honda, they didn't do what I felt that they should have done. They did way more than that. But they didn't do what I felt that they should have done, right? But I don't know that that's a reason to not play or to play a character, because it's just never going to be the case that they'll do what you want them to do. As far as Honda goes, yeah, he's good.
He was already good. You know what? I want to say thank you to all the Japanese tier list creators that put him at the bottom.
Yes.
Thank you so much for doing that and just helping this already high tier character just move on up in the world.
Oh, high tier? What do you mean?
Win.
So if I may quote, when it came to close combat, he had few offensive opportunities to land a strike or Oicho throw, making it difficult to overcome the opponent's blocks.
He had so few. So few.
I mean, to be fair,
love it.
Like you did say, V-shift hurts him a little bit. V-shift hurts headbutt.
It does.
V-shift hurts butt slam. Maybe they kind of knew and they were like, all right, we'll give him some buffs because V-shift kind of messes him up a little bit.
I definitely think that's true.
Yeah, so I think that that might be it. But
for people who are wondering what he got, so he now has a faster stand medium kick and crouching medium kick, and they can combo.
More plus on hit and block.
And it's more plus. Yeah, that's right. And his down forward roundhouse is more plus on block, and headbutts lead to plus. Always lead to Oki. You got to guess whether there's going to be a back tech or a normal tech.
Like everybody.
That's right. That's how the game is. But he does get Oki on headbutt, which is basically new. And in the corner, he gets big damage combos, juggles out of headbutts. And mid-screen, if you're fancy enough to do the target combo into medium hands, which is easier now, you can then do medium headbutt, which is easier now as a juggle, into Oki as well. And his V skill's faster, meaning that maybe it's an anti-air now because it is faster. And if you do that properly, you're getting like 300 damage out of anti-airs with this character. And also, V-trigger 1 headbutts are buffed. They're safer on block. They're now -2. And for some reason, you can do headbutt and then cancel it into the V-trigger headbutt. I don't even know why. So now you can be full screen with Punish Adalsum with Stand Fierce into headbutt, and then cancel that into headbutt follow-up super for 500 damage or whatever.
Yeah.
And those are all great changes. I am surprised that they did that. I really am. I really didn't think that there was going to be much in the way of changes for the character. Again, I think that it probably is true that V-shift hurts him more than it does some others. It's just, I don't know if he needed all that, but I am here to party, and so is everybody else who plays Honda.
Yeah, honestly, it's just... I don't really think that they know some of their own characters, to be honest with you. Like Honda and Lucia, 2 characters who, remember, didn't make top 64 at EVO Japan last year at all. The only 2 characters that didn't make top 64 at EVO Japan. Maybe there's just not a lot of people using them to give information. I mean, you would think that Daigo's stream of him playing Honda and being like, Honda's a really well-designed character and blowing everybody up would have changed.
Honda has been the #1 winning character on CFN for 3 months in a row now.
For an entire year, actually.
For an entire year.
Wait, was he?
They have the data, James.
For actually an entire year.
Oh shit!
They know this
every
stuff.
Month of the year.
They have actual data. Like, they know this stuff. These are intentional choices, I think.
Well, but I think that for Honda, it is a case of not many people playing him. And the only people who are playing him are people who, like, are really into it. you know? So it's not like Ryu was on the lower end of things, but also everybody's playing him, so he's going to get a lot of fluff who bring down the win rate even more, and Honda's the opposite of that. So most of the characters who are on the higher end of that list have been like Fang and Vega, and just, you know, again, characters that are weirdos. So I don't think that that's super useful as data. Again, though, I didn't really think that Honda needed these things.
Right.
But I'm here to party. I'm going to have a good time. I'll tell you that much. And then as far as other characters go, I agree with you guys. Sagat, Ryu stand out to me as characters who got nicely changed. I'm going to go back to the character list here because I always have to do that. I do like what they did with... Oh, what?
I was just going to ask, I mean, because this is another one of those big elephants in the room and stuff like that. What do you think of Dalsum? Like, obviously, the
he's in
nerf
trouble.
When he's floating, he gets counter hit and knocked down. So while he's floating, if you hit him, like, life sucks for him. Do you feel like it's as bad? Because, I mean, obviously, certain Dalsum players are saying that he is clearly bottom 5 now, completely useless. What do you think?
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't want it to be like the same way as last season where all the Dalsums were like, he didn't get enough. He's still bad. And then it ends up that he's pretty good. Like, he wasn't top tier, but he was pretty good. So I'm open to the idea that V-Shift will help him out a lot. That's what Capcom seems to think.
Right.
What's strange to me is that they seem to think that it helps him offensively, when in my mind, it's like he gets to go back to defense more often. So I don't really know. But that could be the case. It's just, yeah, stand jab nerfed is more impactful for him than for most. Crouching strong is slower as an anti-air, unfortunately, 1 frame slower. And this change to the V-Skill 1, and there's something else that I'm forgetting. Oh, yeah, his throw loops in the corner aren't there anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't know that all that needed to happen. But, yeah, maybe he still will be okay. I think that's just difficult to say. Yeah. I want to call this one out. I really like what they did with G. They changed him in some ways. There's some nerfs in there, some buffs in there. But one thing that I really like is that they're trying to highlight his level up system more.
Right.
So now there is more of a reason to do level 3 because you can cancel specials into specials like you can in V-Trigger 1, which is cool. And if you're activating V-Trigger 1, it will last longer depending on what level you were in when you got into it, which gives you, again, an incentive to like make sure that you're in a certain level first. So it's accentuating that style of the character without like making him bad. Right. That's a really nicely done. Yeah, Seth slightly nerfed. Like, I think that this is, it's a good list of changes overall, even if I don't agree with all of them in each case. All right, let's talk about the man. Let's talk about the man. Let's talk about my boy! My boy Dan!
I love that Dusk found an infinite with Dan. Like, that just, like, throws everything into exactly how it should be, right? Like, Dan has an infinite combo. Like,
yeah. I haven't tried learning it. I know it's going to go by.
Yeah, it's going to go away. Yeah, it's going to go away.
Yeah, but I really like Dan. And after having seen him, right, we've seen trailers and little playthroughs and stuff. I thought that I would like him, and I definitely do. I like his... First of all, like, everything he does is plus, almost. He's constantly... either plus or safe. It's like, worst case is -2. And even his sweep, which is definitely punishable, is pretty far, and some characters are going to have trouble punishing that.
Right.
So he's... I like the new roundhouse button that he has that gets the party started from kind of, like, almost half screen. It's really far. I really like the V-Skill 2 that lets you do cancels, normal into V-Skill 2, into then a normal or a special afterward. That, to me, gives him really interesting pressure. It makes it so that his pressure is hard to get a read on and hard to make like an obvious flowchart for. He's not the kind of character where you're going to have one thing that you do every time.
Right.
You're going to be freestyling with the character on offense constantly. And I'm sure some things will be better than others, but like you're going to be mixing things up big time, and it's just going to be whatever runs through your head at the moment, which is pretty fun. I think I'm really looking forward to learning that. But it is complicated. There's a lot to know, and each V skill 2 is a different timing out of each button. So there's so much to know about the character. But I do think that when you know all the stuff, that he does seem to me to be a strong offensive character who can move in pretty well. And with V-Skill 1, which lets you basically do Dan kick from round start position and then end up in -2 with the little taunt at the end.
Right.
It lets you roll in after fireballs. It gives you cooler combos. Like, he has a lot of strength, I think. I don't know that I think he's a fantastic character, but he's at least pretty good, I would say.
Right. I mean, the thing about it is, like, I like V-Skill too because it actually requires a lot of execution, you know, because of the timing constantly. You know, you're trying to do things and, you know, it's you can miss it. You can miss it very easily, and if you end up just taunting, he's actually -6. He's punishable, right? So it's actually kind of neat. And yeah, I mean, were it not for all the buffs that Ryu got, I mean, my joke about Dan being higher tier than Ryu that I put on High Fight's tweet would have actually came true. But, you know, someone actually did point out to me that all the new Street Fighter players coming from Fortnite can't just pick up their boy and have him be bad. So they had to buff Ryu up a little bit. So.
Wow. I really do like Dan, though. I think he's going to be a lot of fun for me to learn. I don't think I'm going to stick with Dalsum and Zangief. I don't know that I think that they'll be terrible, but
what?
I just feel like I'm
bailing on Geef too.
I just feel like I'm less interested.
You coward! You coward!
I'm not a.
That was your boy. You can't bail on him.
He is my boy, but I have bailed on him in the past, actually, when he's been on the lower end of things. When Abigail came out and Geef, this was like season 3, I think. First of all, Geef already died. He was often on vacation in Siberia for at least a year. And so when Abigail was out, yeah, of course, I was just playing that character.
I mean,
so there's precedent for this.
Ever since Honda came out, I never felt like that was his boy anymore.
No,
for me,
it's been Honda.
David has just been Honda all day, so.
It has absolutely been Honda. But I think it's going to be really fun to play Dan as well. I don't know that they'll have different matchups. I feel like they might have the same, like, strengths and weaknesses, but I don't know. I guess we'll see. I don't know that much about Dan at this point. It just came out.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's neat. I was surprised at how cool he was, and there's a lot of little funky things about him, and they definitely did not have any idea to make him bad. Like they and that was the nice thing about it. And he's still a total dork and a goofball, and his super I mean, I don't know if you saw the picture that I put up that was basically in training mode, and the damage said 3,600 that I did on Dan. I did 3,600 damage in one hit to Dan because at the end of his super taunt he takes double damage. And we charged up Mika's mic all the way.
Oh my! Poor Dan.
That's great.
And
that's great.
They even gave Dan a teabag too, which is also
they did.
Super
Mika
funny.
as well. Mika has one with him.
Yeah, right? They gave one to Mika just to hurt Knuckle Dude.
Oh, I thought that was there. That's hilarious. So yeah, he seems fun. I'm very excited to play him more often.
Oh, the Mika one was fake? Oh, okay. That one was
fake.
That was real.
That's Mika's just like regular standing there position, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Because I know I've seen that animation in the past.
But I know we have...
So yeah, Dan's a lot of fun. As far as other stuff, it does seem like there are some issues with the game that came out. There's some glitches. So, for example, Akuma has a T-pose that came out somehow.
Yeah.
Abigail has a glitch.
T-shift, all right?
Yeah. Abigail has an issue. I've seen a few other character-specific things as well, but probably the most impactful is that the audio is now mono only, no longer stereo. So if you're a player who plays without sight, you no longer can hear like where characters are, relatively speaking.
You don't even know what side you're on anymore.
Yeah, exactly. You just don't know. So that's a huge problem, and I feel like is almost certainly not intentional. Right? Don't you think this is probably just them screwing up in some way? They didn't realize it, because unless you have somebody who is blind who's playing and helping you test, I don't know that you would specifically notice that.
Either that or there was just some really boneheaded decision like, let's do this so that when we stream it in this situation online, it would be, you know, like some crazy thing like that. But it is definitely something that needs to be fixed. Like this, without question, we need a patch for this now.
Quickly.
Totally.
A lot of people can't play right now, so that sucks.
It does suck, yeah. And again, it seems like the kind of thing that wasn't on purpose because it's been stereo the whole time.
I don't think it was. I don't think they did it maliciously or anything like that.
Yeah. Well, right. Anyway.
Oh, that's right. Cool. They also made the back rolls have a cloud poof animation and a different voice for everybody, so you can actually react to back rolls differently now.
They did, yeah.
So
I did not know.
Yeah, back rolls create a little poof cloud now. It's like everybody farts the back roll basically, and they all have a different voice clip. So everybody who back rolls says something different now. So you can use audio and visual to react to it one way or the other. The cloud can be hard to see, but it's definitely there. So it's something that you can react to.
Very cool. Thanks for letting me know because I honestly had no idea somehow.
Yeah, Slinky awesome. Jim, Dan has a weird floating jump. If only in V skill 2, I think it is. If you jump and taunt right away, he floats way higher because in V
skill 1.
Oh, it's V skill 1. He gets an air taunt, and if you do it, he goes woo, which is kind of hilarious. So
yeah, he had that in Street Fighter 4 as well.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. All right, cool. I guess that's it for that. Yeah, 11 is a random character that doesn't change mid-round. I think that's kind of what we expected.
Yeah. So. I mean, it would have been hard because it would have required a lot of loading time in between. Yeah. So I don't mind that change. So
not a surprise.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about something else. We move on. The CPT 2020 season final. Oftentimes we talk about tournaments at the end, but I wanted to talk about this earlier because it was cool, and also because we're going to have RobTV on pretty soon, who's going to be talking about this in part.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So it was the replacement for Capcom Cup, which went through, at least 3 different redesigns. There was the normal one where before we all knew that COVID was going to happen. Then there was the one where they first knew that COVID was going to happen. Then there was the DR one that they announced for like 3 weeks or something. Maybe it was a month. And then that changed. And then it finally landed on this of all the players playing online. It was essentially an invitational for players who had qualified, but not in every case. Some of them were actually just invited.
Right.
And it was online and it was regional. So, we didn't see any online problems. And I didn't hear any of the players say that they had online problems because, they were all like Angry Bird and Big Bird played and they were probably in the same building while they were doing it. So, for many of these, it seemed like it was good. And the matches were super cool. It was all online. But what was more cool for me was that the commentary was offline. And again, it was in Burbank, so very close for me. If I had to travel for it, I don't know that I would have done it. Because it's, COVID is definitely still happening. But I just had the luck to be able to drive there. So, dude, my first time seeing anybody who I'm not related to in person, and not just at like the random grocery store, which I gotta go to the grocery store, but other than that stuff, since probably March of last year, and I haven't even seen my parents in a couple of months. We didn't even do Hanukkah, right? So my brother and his wife have a new baby. I haven't seen them. Like, I haven't been doing anything. So to meet up in person with people, and we didn't hug, we didn't high five, we didn't shake hands. We're still maintaining distance. We had a mask on, we had COVID testing, we were all negative, we had to take a temperature every single time we walked in the building. Like, there were still all these regulations. And, if we weren't on camera, we had to have the mask on, we had to be distant. Even still, just being able to see other people in person and say like, hey, how are you over there? How was your last 11 months since I've seen you? Like, that kind of thing was a trip. It was very weird at first when I walked out of the car and I saw somebody else there. It was weird. It honestly was kind of like a little sort of sudden pang of like, like a real feeling. But after that, I got used to it again, and it was great. It was great to see somebody else.
Welcome to old school fighting game feelings where we only saw each other once a year, right?
That's true. Yeah, it did used to be like that. Although in the meantime, I would see many other people. To be fair, this time I have not. So that was good, and the people who did it are the same people who did Street Fighter League, and they've been doing events and stuff the whole year, and they haven't had any COVID problems the whole time because they're all taking it seriously. Good. So there's a lot of stuff to give me confidence, and I still feel fine. Every time I got back afterward from being there, I would shower immediately. As soon as I got home, all the clothes go right in the hamper. Just despite all of these precautions, it still was a lot of fun, and it was still great to see people. And I was really happy for Rob and Brian and St. Cola, who haven't been at something that's either live or that is this high profile before. I think that they all did a great job. Vicious and Tasty Steve did great for sure. And yeah, a lot of fun. A lot of fun to do it. Can you hear about my shower tech?
So anyways, I actually watched every single match.
Did you really? You like this game. I know you do.
I was watching for Sankola, Brian F, and RobTV. 100%, because I just wanted to see those guys do their thing for the first time ever. So that was pretty cool. I enjoyed watching them work. I thought that you and Brian and Rob were a huge highlight. I really liked the analyst stuff. You guys were very natural. It seemed like you had done it together before when you haven't. So that was really cool. Yeah, it was really well done.
Thanks, man. Yeah, we were just trying to... I wanted to make it as easy as I could for those guys because I knew that they hadn't been in situations like this before. I mean, again, Rob he did stuff for Street Fighter League, but this is the live nature of this. Like, I wanted to make it as conducive as possible. I think in a different situation with different people, I may have been like more vocal about my own opinions, but I just wanted to make sure that like they were feeling good and
sure you did a good job.
Went well back and forth. So, thanks, dude. Yeah, it was great. Really enjoyed it. As far as the matches, I thought there were some really, really good ones. I thought that CJ Truth versus Mandrake, even though it was a 4-0, was like just an absolute clinic in footsies and amazing from CJ. That player, I feel like if there had been a Capcom Cup, like that dude would have been
a threat.
He would have been a big threat to go super deep. Yeah. Luffy blew up Phenom 4-1, and as good as Luffy is, I feel like that was a surprise.
That was surprising. Yeah, I agree.
Big Bird versus Angry Bird was also really good. I really enjoyed Takamura versus Infectious. That may have been the set that I enjoyed maybe the most, or maybe like second to the most, because it was just such high level play on both sides. They were just so super, super, super good. And even though it ended up 4-2, I feel like it could have been 4-2 the other way as well. So really fun. And Idom versus Smug was the highlight. Naturally, it was 4-3 down to the final round. That was great.
That was my favorite match.
Maybe I should say that too, because honestly, that was super, super good. And then Daigo versus Gachikun with Rashid on V-Skill 2, which was a treat as well. So a lot of great matches. It was a super weird year. This year is also weird, and they teased at the end that there's going to be some CPT announcement. I don't know what that's going to be, but I guess they're going to be trying to work on stuff still. Hopefully and plausibly by the end of this year, like maybe it really is different. It really could be that case. So
if things keep trending where they are, we'll be all right October-ish, hopefully. So that would be cool.
That is the hope here. Anything else to say about this? Hats off to everybody involved.
Yeah, it was cool.
I'm sure the planning was difficult. They made it work.
I think Daigo would have won if Capcom Cup actually happened.
It's a good bet.
He had a broken pinky and he beat Gachikun.
That's true. What's funny is they told us not to bring that up because they weren't sure whether that was gonna like be impactful or not, or like I don't know. All right. Whatever. But yeah, I was very curious about how that would go as well. But he looked super sick even still. It was amazing.
Yeah.
As far as dude, I could not have bet against Daigo if it was Capcom Cup, but I feel like Idom and Tokido didn't even make it into this, but I probably would have had him up there. And again, CJ, I just feel like is so good, so good. If that dude,
my boy,
if he streamed, if he traveled, like if he had his name out there more, I feel like he would frequently be in that conversation for best player because
Look, man,
he's
CJ's
so
a good-looking kid. He's pre-COVID, I'm sure he was out having fun. He wasn't worried about Street Fighter at the time, but I think maybe COVID may have like made him go, I have to stay home and play video games. I should get good at Street Fighter again.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, with his his skating hockey cami that he always uses.
Exactly. Yeah, he is a big hockey fan. He likes the Lightning.
He is. Yeah, he played hockey. He was a hockey player. All right. Well, I guess that's it for season final. Anything else to say on that one?
No, James, I have nothing. I'm good. It was great.
Cool.
I mean, I thought it sucked because it was missing something clearly, dude. I think the event sucked because it was definitely missing a very key component. So that's all.
I hear you. I hear you. I mean, I'm not gonna rag on you because I didn't make the last Capcom Cup, and it definitely felt bad.
To be fair, I've never made one, so
that's
every year I'm disappointed. Not really.
Yeah, no. yeah. The game that you love.
If they have Marvel, I would be pissed. I'd be throwing stuff right now. Still, I'd be mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, I just.
Next year, James. Next year.
Things will be more back to normal, I imagine. All right, cool. Well, you want to take a break and we can have RobTV come on and we'll have a chat with him after that?
Yep, sounds good to me.
Oh, we're back? Okay.
I think we're back. Back.
Sorry about that, everybody. We just had a few things to work out there. James had to step away. He'll be back later, I expect. But just, had to step away briefly. We have RobTV here as the guest. Thanks a lot for joining us.
What's up, fellas? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on, man. I know that you had a very busy weekend, so I appreciate you, coming on a Tuesday night. That's awesome.
Yeah, dude, for sure.
It's always a blessing to be with the legends, the OGs.
When did you get home?
Yo, I got home yesterday at like 8-something p.m. I haven't even played the new update yet. The Street Fighter 5 update.
What?
What's up? I see you in the chat. Yeah, it was a bit rough, but I'm super happy to be home. The only thing I miss when I do leave, I don't miss the hotels and all that stuff like that, or even even the cities. But I do miss being on set. Being on set is like the funnest thing in the world to me.
Let's talk about this. So this last year, maybe a year and a half for you, has been full of changes, right? So you were a strong player. And you have kind of turned that now into being on camera as well.
Yeah, I appreciate you even saying that, bro. But it's so weird because it's one of those things where when they say you can't really connect the dots looking forward, only looking back. That's kind of how it feels how it feels with this whole getting into the media side of things. I'm sure we'll probably get into the details or whatever at some point as to how I even got into hosting and stuff. But in general though, I love it. I think that it's can I say that? I feel like it's more in general there isn't stability no matter what. I feel like when it comes to doing esports stuff, you just gotta love to do it and just hope for the damn best. But I'm somebody who's obviously willing to take that risk, and I do think that there is more stability and more people you can touch by doing the media side of things as well as being a player instead of just doing the player side of things, So I think that part's been really dope for me too.
I mean, I'll go ahead, David.
Well, no, you should go first because I'd like to hear the whole story of how it happened. But if you got a question beforehand, go.
Oh yeah, no, I was going to say I agree with you on the stability thing, man. You can. If 340 players enter a tournament, maybe 8 of them make money. If you're commentating top 8 finals, you're getting paid no matter
what. It's guaranteed, bro.
So,
and it's not like I'm trying to say that, I'm not trying to say commentators or media. I'm not saying people have it easy on the media side, or I guess now I'm on that side too. But I'm not saying people have it easy on that side or anything like that, because of course that still has its drawbacks. But in general, I feel like if you can position yourself well and if you're good at it, like the legends, like my man David and James Chin and stuff. Of course, I mainly know Street Fighter commentators. So David, you remember I was doing the whole my GOAT commentator tier list for my top 5 or whatever. And you know, of course, I have Ultra Channel in there and people like that. But I think if you can be good enough at it, and you're somebody who the community knows you're not some damn leech, and you actually have passion for what you do, you know, bro, because people see through that leech stuff, bro.
Yeah.
It's obvious. You know what I mean? Like,
especially in the FGC, having that kind of credibility is huge. You know, even it's not even the case that people in the FGC will accept commentators from outside of the FGC. Obviously not. But like, you can't go from like Street Fighter to Tekken or whatever without having put in the work first, or whatever, vice versa, right? Like,
there's no backstory here. It's like, For
sure.
I'm like, bro, I've played in too many damn money matches or too many tournaments getting salty as fuck, or you know, I started to swear. Like,
cool, man.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah,
okay.
Good.
But yeah, you know, getting salty as fuck and like driving. My car was extra shitty at the time. Like, I was driving all around the damn Midwest to tournaments. Everybody over here can vouch, you know, everyone in the Midwest. And, you know, there being no, I mean, there was a time when I was so mad with it, with the way the FGC seemed to be going business wise. I remember because I was looking, this is when, remember, we had that big influx of team sponsors and stuff. And a whole lot of money just got poured in out of nowhere. And of course, it didn't end up ending too well, unfortunately.
Who could have
saw that? I won't even say. I won't say unfortunately. Even the market corrects itself, right? But when I'm looking at that, I'm like, damn. I'm up here. I'm trying to do my content, like, and trying to, you know, entertain people, so on and so forth. And I'm looking, and I'm like, these teams don't even require players to make any content or anything like that. Like, just go to a tournament. Go home, and if you place well enough, often enough, then we want to sponsor you. Like, who cares about the actually pushing a product or XYZ? So I'm thinking, and I'm like, yo, I always thought that people like Mike Ross, I always thought people like K-Brad, I always thought those guys were really cool. You know what I mean? When I was getting into the scene. And then I'm like, yo, it seems like personality is not really all too valued. And luckily, eventually, I came to it, and that had made me stop focusing on my content. So if you ever look at my YouTube channel, there's a big gap. Sorry if I'm talking too long, by the way.
No, please.
No, that's what we brought you here for. Talk.
Okay. All right. So look, so there's this big gap on my YouTube channel for like, it was like a year, bro, where I didn't post anything because I was focusing so hard on improving as a player, and I did get much better, right, in game. But eventually, you know, like my dad follows everything closely, for example, and he talked to me a lot, and you know, for some reason my outlook changed, and I realized it's like, yo, it's not even about the whatever money you can get from doing content, like doing YouTube videos and stuff. You're not really gonna make no damn money unless you damn Maximilian dude, not literally, but you know what I'm saying. Like, you got to be up there. So, but eventually I came to the conclusion. I'm like, damn, when I go to these tournaments, there's people that, you know, are fans of mine or whatever. It always feels weird even saying fans. Like, I feel like you think you hot shit or something like that. I don't. You know what I mean? Like, the Hollywood shit is like a persona or nickname given to me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not actually. But there's people who consider themselves fans. Like, that's what they would say. And they'll bring up how a video touched them from over a year ago or something like that. And I'm like, damn, that's more important than all the other stuff anyway, because you built in like a connection and relationship. You know, so I got back on the content side, and different people seen that and noticed that, and you know, it ended up eventually turning into the stuff I'm doing now.
Well, okay, so you referenced you driving around the Midwest with your car. I kind of want to know the story, like, from the start. How did you find the FGC? How did you get into it? How did you decide to take it seriously in the first place?
Right.
Okay, all right. So this shit is fucking OD, bro. All right. So, yeah, why do I always gotta swear, bro? I will never be esports. Okay.
No, first of all, yeah, you just wore this past weekend. Second of all, it's totally cool.
All right, look, so Street Fighter 4 comes out. So me and my dad get Street Fighter 4 because me and my dad compete in video games. Like, we've competed in video games forever. Now, when I say compete, I don't mean go to tournaments. I'm talking about playing at home. You know what I mean? Me and my dad, I'm the oldest of my siblings, so I play against my brothers and all that stuff too. But mainly me and my dad was a rivalry, and we talk hella shit all the time. You know?
What game?
So we played Street Fighter, Tekken, damn Mario Golf, Mario everything. You know what I mean? Like, I mean everything. 2K, Madden, WWE, SmackDown, No Mercy, chat. Hey, chat, come on now. WWF, No Mercy. Come on, bro. All of that, the classics. We competed in everything. So my trash talking and stuff was built up early. Like I feel like my personality type, which to me is a gift and a curse. I think my personality type that was built up for sociological reasons, I feel like that shit was like, it was built through my dad and coming from like an inner city area. And I wasn't like the quiet kid. I was roasting it. Well, we call it roasting where I'm from, but cracking jokes and all that, right? So on the bright side, it make it so that I'm a loud ass dude. So I'm not scared in front of cameras. On the negative side, there's some people who might be turned off by it and be like, oh, you know, this guy's like, oh, that's over the top. Or some people think that I'm putting on a fucking show when I'm not.
How old are you?
I was just going to ask.
I'm 27.
Jesus, you sound like 24-year-old Tupperware.
I was legit going to say 23 or something like that. Yeah,
that's
bro. Everybody think I'm, bro. Yeah,
you sound exactly like me. Like literally, Jesus Christ, 10 years ago. I'm so old,
bro.
I'm listening to you talk. I'm like, wow, you're describing you're me. All right,
bro, dead ass, bro. And so I feel like it's like that shit's like a gift and a curse to be like that, but I think it's more good than harm. But anyway, back to the story. So we playing Street Fighter 4 around that time. Now I didn't know tournaments or shit like that existed at all. So boom, damn. Now look, okay, I don't know if y'all can laugh. Y'all can laugh at this, right? So when a black motherfucker say boom or like, all right, so boom, like that or something like that, that means the story getting good. So boom. So then we move on. I see they didn't want to laugh. They didn't want to risk it because it's Black History Month. See, look, that's smart though. That's brand safe. All right, all right. So they stealing. I'm so fucking childish, bro.
You're 23 over there.
Yeah. All right. So eventually, when I'm playing Street Fighter 4, eventually I go off to college and stuff, and I met this dude. I'm playing ranked, and there's a dude named Cosm Master. Shout out to my mans. You know, he's a polarizing guy. He does have some wild ass opinions. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not standing by all of them, but he's a smart guy. I'm playing ranked. I run into this Ryu player. He invites me to a lobby. Now I'm not even to a party. I didn't even know people in Street Fighter talk to each other. You know how back in the shooting games at Xbox Live, like people will be talking in the damn through the voice chat. Yeah, so I didn't even know, except for the random obnoxious motherfuckers in rank that are just banging music through their fucking headphones, thinking that shit sound cool, you know. And so he invites me to this replay lobby that they had in Street Fighter 4, and he was like, the first thing he says is, "What do you want to learn?" Like, bro, what the fuck? Like, hey, what are you talking about? He sound like Morpheus or some shit. And long story short, he ends up becoming like he's the one who told me about that there was like a Street Fighter 4 Facebook group and things like that. And at that point, I just got into this stuff heavy. And after that, I still wasn't competing, but like I'm in college, but I'm practicing seriously. I just never really played offline in Street Fighter 4. So I just always got to acknowledge Cosm Master and my guy FEX Raven, because they helped me out a lot early on, like just teaching me stuff and letting me know that there was a tournament scene. But then when people, I guess, got to know me as a Street Fighter 5. So in Street Fighter 5, so I'm still in college in 2016, right? But I only have 1 year of college left, and I dropped out. Now, I was at a good school, business school. Now, when I say I dropped out, I'm not saying I dropped out to play Street Fighter or whatever, even though I don't think motherfuckers should. I think people always try to shit on somebody chasing their dream, for one. Just want to put that out there, too. Like, bro, you know, if a motherfucker did want to do that, I would not suggest a kid to do that off rip, but I'm saying I wouldn't suggest it. But if somebody is dead set on that, do what you want to do. You're going to die one day, right? So, anyway, I left. I just knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur in general. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. I thought I was going to start some type of business. Like, you know how sometimes people go down the rabbit hole of the self-help books and what, like, so, you know, I remember I was specifically in a microeconomics class, and I asked a fucking question to my teacher, and she was like, "Oh, well, we're not on that part yet." Not like I was that smart. Well, I'm not saying I'm not smart, but I'm saying it's not like I'm not trying to position it as if I was just a super intelligent, ahead of the class guy. It wasn't like that. It's just that I hated how structured it was. It didn't make sense to me that it was that structured. So I left, and I wanted to do entrepreneurship. So when I left, I happened to go move to Columbus me and my girl, we moved to Columbus, and they had locals here. So I started going to the local tournaments. This is when I'm first starting to compete offline in Street Fighter 5. Actually, I'm sorry, my first ever, this is quick, my first ever offline tournament was something called Cleveland Clash. I drove like 2 hours, and it was a round robin, and I smoked everybody. So you gotta think I thought I was fucking wrong. I was trash. It was round robin, like, but I thought I was gone. Like, I still have the picture. I actually even, I don't see where it's at, but I even still have the certificate. But anyway, so oh yeah, so what happened? 2016. Oh yeah. So I'm playing in these little local tournaments, and before I know it, I'm beating everybody's ass in the local tournaments in Columbus, Ohio. So at that point, my boys start telling me about, like, I'm hearing about, I'm watching major events and shit. Like I saw Knuckle do at Capcom Cup and all that. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of weird to imagine now that I was like just like a fan of these motherfuckers and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and I went to my first major and final round. And, you know, since then I've been, you know, there's a lot of details, but I ain't trying to like talk y'all ear off on the shit. But yeah, before I knew it, I was like a player, a Street Fighter 4 spot like player. And I would say that, like, skipping a lot of details, it was, stuff kind of took off kind of fast. I would say, or very fast, because 2017 final round is like what? Final rounds in what, March or April or something like that? Yeah, so my first major is that, but then I didn't go to another major until SCR, and then I went to NEC, which my friend, you know, had convinced me to go, and that's in December, at the end of 2017. But I got second place, and I was like going and teabagging everyone, and you know, I just had a real underdog mentality. You know what I'm saying? In hindsight, I don't regret anything, but I wouldn't do that shit now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But in the end of the day, that shit ended up making even though some people had some negative stuff to say, it ended up getting my name out there. I wasn't trying to do that. That's just how I was. But, you know, and I didn't realize at the time, by the way, that like, I wasn't used to being playing on stream. I didn't realize that people aren't seeing all your interactions with these people you're playing against to know you guys are cool. They're only seeing a few seconds. Yeah, so if I'm teabagging Chris G and Dan Slip and stuff, they don't know that I'm like, yo, much love, bro, and it's all good. So, and these guys don't know me. They don't know no fucking
you clearly hate all of them.
You probably,
you want to fist fight all of them.
That's what I took from it. Yeah.
Some people fucking hated me, yo. So it luckily that ended up turning around. But yeah, from that point, then you had the Challenger. I got my first sponsor, the Hazardous, and then the Challenger reality show happened, and you know, fucking, you know, deck of cards, I guess.
Sorry, guys. By the way,
I want to make sure y'all able to ask questions and shit like that. So
I'm back. I'm back. Sorry, guys. I had to take care of something, so I'm back real quick. So,
yo, what's up, OG?
What's going on? I do have a question for you, but I'll let these guys go first because it's kind of a goofy question. So, you know, if you guys have anything else.
Well, I'm curious about how even that show came about. I want to know about the sort of transition. You talked about it a little bit before, but I want to know more about the transition between you from just playing to trying to make content. You know, many of the players right now, I think, are trying to do that in this kind of COVID year when it's, you know, we don't have tournaments in the same way, right? There's just fewer ways to compete. So a lot of people have focused their attention to content as well, or maybe even just to the exclusion of competition at this point. But you were doing that before. Was that something that what drove that, I guess, is my question.
Okay, so that's actually interesting. And Akai, I see you in the chat saying like tell Rob to talk our ears off. So okay, I won't overthink it anymore. Okay, I won't overthink it. I'll just, you know,
you're on the show so you can talk, right? I mean,
that's the whole point.
Literally why we brought you on.
All right. So I'm just gonna let that shit flow. All right. So with that, so obviously my tag is RobTV, right? The reason why my shit is so general is because when I left college, I made this YouTube channel. I had another YouTube channel first, but y'all never gonna really know about that shit. It was some like business shit or whatever. But when I left college, it was like I had decided I want to make content. Now I felt like since I've done YouTube forever, like I've done like I was popular for rapping in high school and for you know, rather rapping, battle rapping. I performed at all the high school, at all the shows, like dancing. This is back when Crump. I don't know if y'all know about Crump dancing, like dance battling and shit like that. Back in that shit was popping at that time, at least when I was my freshman year. So I was always like I don't know, man. Like I got fucking expelled in 8th grade for some like some childish ass shit because I always got like in trouble early on and stuff like that. Really like being a class clown type guy. So
you like eyes on you.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, like in a non-narcissistic way, but yeah. So, or I guess that's subjective, right? But okay. But yeah. So I've always liked that. Yeah, I guess. And so I was like, all right, I'm gonna be RobTV. The reason I wanted to make that shit RobTV is because it's general. So it wasn't like my first channel name was like float, like instead of that's right. It was like No Chart TV. Like instead of flow chart, I was like No Chart. Like it was just shit. It was trash. But by the time but eventually I was like, nah, fuck that. That's too geared to fighting games. I want to make content for everything. So if anybody ever go look at my YouTube channel, you'll see that my first video is called like best YouTube channel ever or something like that. And I'm not doing fighting game shit. It's some random shit. Like I'm eating cereal in a fucking cereal aisle at the store at Myra or something like all this random shit. Like, and so my content was supposed to be varied, but I just ended up my love for fighting games just ended up having me so stuck on this shit. I didn't even choose for my tag to be RobTV. So it's crazy still that's my tag. To me, that shit's still crazy. I just kind of didn't have a tag. But when I went to a tournament, because I thought I was going to sign up as like fucking Karen Please or something, because that was just my fucking CFN. But when I went to a tournament in Chicago at Red Bull, I guess motherfuckers knew about my YouTube channel, so they just put RobTV. That is the wildest shit. I did not choose this. I chose that was RobTV is my channel name, not my name. So if you know how everybody has their channel intro, my channel intro was always, "What's going on, people? It's your boy," or something like I would say like I'm Rob B of RobTV. It's Rob B. My last name started B of RobTV. You know what I mean? But now I just like, yo, it's RobTV. You know what I mean?
You are RobTV now.
Yeah. There's a long tradition. There's a tradition as long as you are old of people not getting to pick their own names in the FGC. So
go talk to Tasty. Go talk to Tasty Steve about that one, man. He's a
hot dog.
What? Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna have to talk to him. I didn't know that.
Tasty Steve.
I didn't know that
was Digital Devil 4GK. And then,
hell no!
And it's the worst name.
Eris called him Tasty Steve one time at like the run back, and that was it. That was the end of it.
Yeah, it just stuck. It just stuck.
Yep.
You know, the Hollywood part of my name, I didn't pick that either. Like, I wasn't always called Hollywood RobTV, but like after like NEC and shit, like my friends started calling me Hollywood. Like these are my friends.
You don't get to pick.
Yeah. And Tasty Steve called me that shit. He started calling me that shit after the the Challenger reality show. He's like Hollywood, and it just ended up happening. But so on the media side, I just came into the game on the media, like thinking about the media stuff. Like I've always looked at the FGC as like the business, as if the business was trash. I always felt like that's from the beginning, just being completely fucking honest, yo. I always felt like the business was so bad and that there was obvious shit we could do to make it better. And I thought it was obvious that teams should not be signing people. And I thought it was obvious that for one, teams are probably not the best in game.
Right. Yeah.
And that teams, if they want to make profit and stuff like that, or that they shouldn't go about it in the way that they were going about it. So I always knew the importance of content. Like I noticed in those other esports and shit, even that like that the way that they did shit, like the content was the most important part. And I always watch people outside of esports on YouTube and stuff, right? So I spent a lot of time on there. So I always felt like personality and whatnot was extremely important because that's the type of shit that I like to watch. So as far as I guess that's how I got to the content side. Did you want to know about the media stuff?
It doesn't feel to you. Go for it.
No, I was just about to say, like, I think that's really important. I think that's something that a lot of the FGC people are missing. You know, I still remember having conversations with, I mean, I don't want to call anybody out or anything like that, but, you know, I've had people be like, you know, why do I need a Twitter? You know, why do I need to engage in social media?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I've won Evo, you know, like, isn't that enough kind of thing, you know? But like,
Nope.
It's not enough, right? Because I was like,
No.
What you don't understand Twitter is Twitter is literally like, you're an advertisement, but people want to hear what you have to say. You know?
Yeah, facts. I think people to this day, I think some people are too focused only on winning, and people are scared too, bro. Like, and that's where we get some of the What do I say? Okay, I don't want to say too because I don't want to like single anybody out there like that. But in general, I think that people are so not like a lot of times people can be like introverted, right? Yeah. And then all of a sudden you're thrust into the spotlight. And then because of that, like they like the stuff that comes with it for the most part. So they don't want to risk losing it. But you can't do shit great without taking a risk. You know what I mean? Yep. So as cliche as that sounds, I immediately knew like, man, I'm used to, you know, either winning the fist fight or losing the fist fight growing up, or people talking, you know, roasting in the lunchroom. I'm used to winning that shit. I'm used to losing that shit. And people, you know what they always did? They always moved on to the next thing. So unless you do something crazy and like, you know what I mean, say something stupid that you shouldn't be saying in the first place and get yourself canceled or something like that from being an idiot. As long as you're not doing that, bro, put yourself out there, take the risk, you know? So yeah. I never really was overly like moved or bothered by the chat. Like just now, season final, which I'm sure we'll talk about that eventually, but you know, the support and love that I had got from that, and we all got love from that, but just, you know, talking about from my experience, like that people gave me for that shit, even with all of that, there was that 1%, of course, like with everybody, that's going to wall out and say, oh, that's cringe or XYZ. The same way Akai is in the chat saying, yo, have RobTV talk our ear off. There's going to be the next guy who's like, yo, tell this guy to shut the fuck up. And I, early on, accepted I can't win over that guy. Or maybe I can, but it shouldn't be my fucking focus. Realize who fucks with me and who likes my type of shit. And not everybody's meant to scale the same way. You know? Like maybe... Like, luckily, this shit's going good for me. But if I happen to be a type personality that only this amount of people supposed to rock with me, that'll be fine with me. Seth Godin, this guy, this marketing guy, he has this book called Tribes. And this point that he brings up is like how if you have a smaller amount of supporters, but they support you times 10, you good anyway. Right. You know, so focus on who rocks with you, and you know it goes from there. So yeah, that was my mentality and what let me go into content early.
That's awesome. Yeah, but yeah, let's talk about Street Fighter League and then season final.
James, you said you had a question, right?
Oh yeah, that's right.
I mean, the only question that I really wanted to ask Rob here. This is a very important question here. Okay, Rob.
Yeah. Okay?
How do you feel being the two-time and current reigning Pocky KO champion right now?
I'm fucking dead.
I just want to know. I mean, you know, it's funny. They had me record all my lines, and I gave them multiple versions, and I definitely called you Hollywood RobTV multiple times. I don't think they used any of them though, so I'm kind of sad.
They slipping. See, Pocky might talk about that in his contract. Y'all slipping right now. See, but yeah, man, you know, that's really a beautiful thing. Like, you know, of course, I'm looking forward to retaining it for the third year in a row.
Of course.
But all of my shilling aside, it's funny how that actually went with the Pocky thing. When they asked me to do Pocky at did you guys see the original one with Kenny Omega and stuff?
Yeah. I mean, I was on the stage.
Oh, James, you literally was there.
Remember, I had to sweep up Kenny Omega's Pocky. No.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, I remember that. But yeah, so this is the thing. When they asked me about doing that, I did not fucking know that it was about to be on the main stage, or B, that it was going to be on the main stream. I thought, because remember, there was like a little pocky fucking couch area.
Yeah.
It was small.
Uh-huh.
So I'm thinking this is some little thing that's not that deep, right? So now, mind you, that night after they asked me to do it, we compete in Street Fighter League Championship at the Team Gale. Uh-huh. So we beat Team Frost, and shout out to my people, Sherry, Samurai, and Duo Kevin. And then we played against Team Japan. We lost, right? Uh-huh. So I'm fucking depressed, bruh. Sad as shit. The fuck? I'm sad as hell. Cause you gotta think, for one, for the pure glory alone, right? I'm up here, I'm like, damn, I'm up here on this big stage. I seen USA versus Japan shit in Street Fighter 4. Like, I can't believe I'm a part of this shit right now. I'm ready to cook. James Chin, of one of the GOATs, is interviewing me right now for the match. I'm like, hell yeah, let's eat. These motherfuckers come and they beat our ass, right? Yeah. So I'm like, damn. You know, I dropped tears over that loss, man. Quick little side story on that. I'm holding it together. I'm chilling. We get to the back, right? We lost. We get to the backstage, little player area. I'm chilling. My head's down and stuff. This motherfucking knuckle dude comes over to me, right? Hits me with one of these. He just puts his hand on my shoulder. Immediately I'm crying, bro. It's over with. As soon as he put his hand on my shoulder, I'm like, damn. Like, if for some reason that confirmed our defeat, oh damn, this shit is real. You know, so anyway.
You did well.
So we ended up like being up all late. Like we ended up being up real late. You know, I'm up here just pretty much licking my wounds. So by the time the next day comes, like, I'm getting all these phone calls. I was up way too late though. I'm getting these phone calls, and I see Sean trying to call me, and Kev, and goddamn, the dude ended up getting through to me. I'm like, bruh. He like, yo, you supposed to do some Pucky thing today? I'm like, oh fuck, I forgot. So I remember, no bullshit. I'm like, man, I'm not in my right mind because I'm so sleepy. I'm like, man, should I go? My dumb ass. I'm like, man, should I go, man? I'm so tired. He was like, yeah, bro. He's like, you don't want to mess up your relationships and look bad. I'm like, yeah, you right. I wouldn't even thought that, by the way, if I was in my right mind. But yeah, so I go to do it, and I don't know if it was a communication issue or whatever. Well, I think I do know what happened, but I won't really say. But basically, even after we went out and did it, I didn't know that Kenny Omega was going to come out until he came out. God is my witness. I did not know. I did not know. They said something about a special guest. They're like, then Kenny Omega come out. I'm like, bro. So mind you, I know all about perception and mic skills and all that shit. So I'm like, this is a motherfucking professional wrestler. What the fuck am I about to do with this guy on the mic? So I'm like, okay, bro, I gotta relax and try to keep up with this dude and still be funny and shit. And just let it flow, and it worked out, thankfully.
Dude, you did a great job with that. I remember because you were talking shit back to him. You did.
Yeah. Thanks. But yeah, when I got to the back, Midori is back there, and of course my dude Josh and everything, and they were super happy about it, and Pocky was super happy about it, and I'm like, shit. So and that's season 2 of Street Fighter League, right? Yeah, that's season 2. Mm-hmm. So at that point, people are already telling me about I got a real talent with this on camera shit, and boom, like there's a possibility of maybe doing stuff in the future or whatever. But you know, you be hearing that, but you don't know,
right?
You know, so I'm not thinking much of it. But that's how the Pocky thing, how I feel about the Pocky thing though. That's dope, and I will be retaining my title every single goddamn year. Shout out to Pocky.
See, the Pocky KO led to the Street Fighter League stuff. You see, there you go.
I guess it did, yeah.
It really did.
In a way, it's a part of it. It's a part of it. So, did you want to go to that part? How the Street Fighter League shit happened?
Well, we got 20 seconds left, but I just want to know how you feel about having done something like the season final. Like, how did it feel to do it live? How just your impression of the event, basically.
Okay, got you. So I felt like the season final, that shit was. I feel like Street Fighter League felt more like super shocking to me, just because it was the literal first time I ever did anything. But I was really excited to do something live, you know. So it felt really good to be able to do that live. Like shit, what you said, 20 seconds to make me want to.
Oh no! Keep don't even worry about it, because like I had to start the timer over again partway through, and I don't know if I did the right estimate. So just to here, you know what? I'll make you feel better about this. I'll add some more time onto this. Here we go. You got 5 minutes now, Rob. You got 5 minutes.
Okay, look, this is the most this is the most important shit that I'm gonna get out real first thing, right? Because there's just one cool story. So the way that I became Street Fighter League host. So for one, Street Fighter, I'm gonna talk fast as fuck. Street Fighter League season 1 and 2. When I came on there, I was already like, I wanted to win, and I did good as a player, but I was trying to entertain motherfuckers too. So I remember season 2, for example, I literally brought some fucking stickers from the Tar Pit Club, from one of my sponsors. I brought these fucking stickers there, right? And after we beat Punk's team, I handed out a RobTV sticker to each member of his fucking team. Yep. And congratulated them on their hard work to make it that close. So and there were a whole lot of different like fun little like Street Fighter League viral moments that happened from there.
Dude,
so
I remember that moment clearly, because I remember at Canada Cup, I saw you and I was like, Rob, give me a sticker, and you had stickers, and you gave me a sticker.
I had that shit on me.
I still have my RobTV sticker, dude.
Nice.
I kept that thing. So anyway, so a lot of moments like that happened at Street Fighter League. That was, even though I was a player, that was like pretty like entertaining shit to the audience. So anyway, Team Gale was supposed to come back for this last season of Street Fighter League that I just hosted. It was supposed to be me, Knuckle, and Shine again. Because we were the top American team. But you see, there was a new format where they got Problem X coming in. He didn't end up making it, but you know what I mean? The Angry Bird, all these people. So Knuckle, as the captain, had the option: does he want Team Gale to come back, or does he want to try to get a better team and they had to put us in a player pool? Knuckle decided, he had to make the best decision for himself and for his family, which is completely understandable. That man got a kid and everything. Shout out to little Cleo, my little niece. So dude decided to disband a team. So I ended up not being on Street Fighter League because of that. However, they liked the entertainment value I brought. So my dude John hit me up like, bro, at this point they start talking behind the scenes about me possibly having like some role, like this, something like RobTV's corner or something like that. And then we talking on the phone and he's like, what if you just the fucking host? And I'm like, hell fucking yeah. Like I never did it before, but fuck it. And yeah, that's how it got to this point. So
well, cool, dude. I was really happy for you. I thought that you did great on the show again. I told you that in person. I think you definitely did.
But I mean, another
question. You
question,
helped me and Brian out a lot.
How different was it to do something that was pre-recorded and all of a sudden now you had to do something live? Like, did it feel more stressful, or did it feel natural in a way just because you're just chilling with David and Brian and it was just like, whatever? It just felt like you were hanging out with your friends, basically.
So I would say I was a lot more comfortable for the live one than I was initially with the hosting thing, I guess.
Interesting.
I was a lot more comfortable just because I had done it before. And it felt live. It didn't feel like a YouTube video. Like Street Fighter League not being live, the shit was feeling live to me at first because it's all these big ass cameras out, the lights and so on and so forth. The way I'm looking at it is I'm not trying to waste these people's time. So I don't want to have to do 100 takes and shit like that like I can do for my YouTube videos. But eventually I had calmed down with that. So I did like the intros for Street Fighter League and for the season final, the little intro video.
Yeah.
So I actually had wrote both of those, which I'll point out just in case there's any production people watching. Hit your boy up, know what I'm saying? I got a little something in the tuck that I can do for y'all. But I actually wrote both of those as well.
Nice.
But for Street Fighter League, I had to do that take a few times and shit. I had to get coached up.
Right.
But by the time, since I had got so comfortable doing Street Fighter League over the course of those weeks of recording it, by the time Street Fighter League, season final came around, I was a whole lot more comfortable.
Right.
So, I feel like on doing it live, I wasn't as, I feel like I already had like a lot of, I guess you can't call it a lot of experience, but to me, I felt like I had a lot of experience already.
Yeah,
and then, of course, I had David here as well.
It helps.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and of course, David, and David, of course, made the shit run smoother as well. Having one of the GOATs next to you is always going to smooth things out.
Yeah, again, I thought you guys did great. It was super fun. Happy for you. Cool, dude. Well, you want to plug stuff for yourself?
Oh, yeah, definitely, guys. Make sure you guys check out my YouTube channel, RobTV Gaming. And follow me on Twitch at RobTV Live. And shout out to, of course, my sponsors, Crescent Esports and the Tar Pit Club. And shout out to these legends that we have right here, Tubo, David, James Chen. And as far as Ultra Chen, I mean, I told David this at the season final, but from the bottom of my heart, man, I really, like everybody in this chat, I'm sure, I was watching you guys before I even fucking considered going to a tournament or getting into any of the media side of things. And I told you guys these things in person. And of course, you always like really relaxed and nonchalant about it. And it's probably hard to even realize your own greatness. But I thank you for paving a way for all of us and being such goddamn legends. You know, it means the world that I'm even on this platform to talk with you guys.
That's very nice of you to say, dude. And we appreciate you coming on as well.
Sure. Much love, guys.
All right, Rob. Later,
man. Yep.
Peace.
All right, so you can get out of the call as well, buddy.
All right, goodbye. Revert those fucking Honda buffs. Revert the Honda buffs.
Oh no!
Actually,
he's cursed us.
Actually, leave him on. Keep him here. I just want that, like, for every 5 minutes, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, revert those Honda buffs.
It just pops in, yeah.
Just like the voice
the
of
fourth
God
member of
coming down.
UCTV, the voice of RobTV.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, dude. All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, again, thanks to Rob for coming on. That was cool. Very nice to hear from him. Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move on to talk about the next thing, which was also really important. And I was happy to see this. The Japanese fighting game developer Roundtable #2. And I know that after the first one happened, we talked about it, right? We all wanted to see a second one happen.
Yeah.
I was so happy when they announced the second one, because I was like, yes, they're making this a thing. And, you know, I had talked about wanting to get more people on there. They even said at the start that Sega was invited and they wanted to join, but they couldn't make it in time. So, you know, hopefully next time they get Sega, I hope that they can even get like NRS and, you know, other teams on there, the US teams as well. So
that would be super cool if it was just fighting game developers roundtable instead of only Japanese. It would be very cool.
Exactly.
Yeah, that'd be really dope.
But it remains still just the Japanese fighting game devs. So unfortunately, there were a ton of issues. I don't know if you guys were watching live, but
I tried to at first and I gave up after about 20 minutes. It was
yeah. I don't know how the experience was for Japanese listeners, people who could understand.
Right.
But if you only spoke English, it was real tough. There were extended periods where there was no translation at all, and it seemed like Giuna and Michael, who were on there doing the translations, that they couldn't hear stuff either. There were just a bunch of issues going on.
I mean, so they were. I know Giuna and Michael were watching through their own feeds, and so Giuna was late. They knew about the audio problem. They just couldn't do anything about it. It wasn't like, because at first, like, I was restreaming it, and I was restreaming it with Olaf so that we could react to it. And at first, we were all like, Giuna, someone contact Giuna. But they had no control over it, actually. It turns out they had no control over it. And so whoever was in charge of doing the stream couldn't figure out how to switch the audio from the Japanese to the English on there and stuff. And it's why you get, big professional companies like Tenno to do stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So I did watch Marlon Pai's stream for a while. He understands Japanese, so he was giving kinds of translations. He was very clear to point out, like, look, I'm not a translator. I just know Japanese, and those are not the same, right? Like, it's not easy to translate. So he was very clear about that. But he did, if something was important, he was like, oh, they're talking about whatever they're talking about. So that at least was happening. I could watch it a little bit. But yeah, there were a ton of problems for quite a while. So I actually turned it off myself, and later found out what all the announcements were, but I tapped out as well, unfortunately.
I mean, I figured somebody would watch the whole thing and tell us all what happened, and it would be fine. I didn't have to watch it live.
I would love to watch it live. It's just
I mean, hopefully, obviously, it's something that they want to do more often, and so I would imagine as time goes on, it'll probably become a more bigger professional production and stuff. Because right now, it is just basically kind of like a glorified Zoom call and stuff like that.
Right.
And, hopefully, it will get more and more with it. But I mean, for now, it's serving its purpose, right? They're answering some questions, and then they have a bunch of announcements, and I think that's cool. They even talked about potentially doing stuff together, maybe even running a. They even talked about this, I don't even know if people understand. I already said that it's amazing that they're doing the stream in the first place, but they even talked about maybe having a collaborative event where they all run a fighting game tournament, and they're all because we often talked about how we have no governing body because not one company can go in there and just be like, here's a bunch of prize money that'll go to a game we didn't work on. But if all the devs actually came together and ran their own event, that would actually be really sick, I guess
I do think it would be sick. I don't want the grassroots stuff to get pushed out, which I guess is kind of my concern about that. Of course, ultimately, but I know that matters to you too. So anyway, I would love to see more of this, the fighting game roundtables in the future. Absolutely a great idea. Just hopefully they iron things out for the next time.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the announcements that did happen there. So they talked about Netcode for a while. I assume just based on having watched it without really having English translation, they were talking about Wi-Fi versus wired connections in Tekken and that sort of stuff for a while. And but yeah, there were then announcements. So I'm not going to be able to rehash the discussions that they had. But.
One thing I wanted to say though was during that conversation about Netcode and everything, the focus was a little bit on Wi-Fi, but it sounded like some people kept kind of bringing up Netcode and some people were bringing up Rollback and stuff. And Oda, when Oda started talking, Oda of SNK, he mentioned nothing about Netcode and then started praising playing offline and stuff like that. I
did want to bring it up. I didn't want to sound like the hater.
No, we had to bring it up. I was planning to bring it up later. Absolutely, we have to talk about this.
Yeah,
it
was a bad
well, that's something you guys bring it up because I very clearly am not happy with what we're getting from KOF 15 so far. So I want to let you guys bring that up, so I didn't just sound like I'm just hating the hate.
Fair enough.
It's not a good sign at all. And if that's the case, and that means KOF is coming out with delay-based netcode, the game is basically DOA, especially after the Strive beta and what everybody has experienced there. And I think that releasing KOF 15 with delay-based netcode and even fixing it later on and replacing it will be too late. I think the game will be DOA and it's gone. I really honestly feel like if delay-based netcode is what they are planning, they need to delay the release of the game. Just delay the game as long as you can until you can get you have Code Mystics on your side. Hire them to come and look at it, see what they can do and help you with. They obviously know what they're doing, and you've already had a working relationship with them. You gotta delay it. 2022 KOF 15 will be more successful than a 2021 KOF 15 with delay-based netcode. You will make more money back by having rollback netcode in your game in 2022 than you would releasing it now and not spending the extra year of development time. That's just honestly what I believe at this point.
And it's been very interesting to see many members of the SNK and KOF community being really vocal about that. Even players who are people who I know have been huge KOF heads for their whole lives. People for 20, 25 years have been super big KOF heads. And some of the top players even in East Asia as well, and in LATAM and in North Africa that I've seen, Europe, players from all over the world have said things like what we have kind of said before, which is that if the game doesn't have rollback, then they think it will just be DOA.
It's hashtag no rollback, no buy. That's what a lot of people have been putting out there. So, it's such a the Strive beta could not have come out at a worse time for KOF if they have delay-based netcode.
Remember when MVCI got announced and then Dragon Ball got announced right after?
Yeah.
It's the same situation. ArcSys is just the dream crusher. ArcSys is the dream crusher for all other fighting game companies right now. First Marvel to Dragon Ball, now amazing netcode, rollback netcode in Strive, and KOF is looking not so hot. ArcSys is just out there crushing dreams.
You are spot on. I hadn't thought about that before, but that actually is a great analogy, unfortunately, for KOF. I mean, I'm not a KOF head. I played 13, I played a couple in the past, but it's not a series that I'm overly invested in. I feel like it shouldn't just be about rollback, because even if it's a game I'm not into, like, I want the gameplay to also matter, but I do certainly understand the people who would put the most time into it if the game was something that they really liked, wanting to make sure that it's a game that they could actually play, because you guys have gone through this experience, I have too, of having a game that you really like and you'd love to play, but you can't effectively because you don't have anybody to play it with in person. Even before COVID times, like many of us have been there, where there's a game that you like that like just your friends aren't into, and what do you do if there's no good online play and nobody you know locally is playing it? Like, it sucks. You're screwed. So even outside of COVID times, that has been true, but especially in COVID times, and even if things are better next year, it's not going to be normal exactly, right? It's still going to be a while until things are completely back to whatever it was, if they even do.
And the thing
so
is,
I get it.
It just doesn't even matter. Like, having good netcode is not going to hurt offline. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like having good netcode just means everyone will enjoy the game more, and then they'll probably want to watch more of the offline events,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, having rollback doesn't mean that you don't have an offline scene. Games that have had rollback for most of a decade have offline scenes. That still totally exists.
I just want to quote this in the chat, okay? High Fight says, not every game can have ArcSys graphics, but every game can have GGPO. This is coming from the man who put GGPO in his game. He knows more than anybody else. He put he put rollback netcode into footsies, okay? So he knows what he's talking about here.
Early W, yeah. The netcode in Strive is far better than GGPO.
Oh, yeah.
Far better.
Like I said, I think it has a lot to do with some of the stuff that was put in the Skullgirls at one point in time that made it so that they could play the cross stuff. They probably put stuff in there that was equatable to that, because you remember at that point it was like, oh my gosh, we can actually make rollback netcode even better than it was before, and you know, it's what happened with Skullgirls, and I'm assuming Zynak used a lot of that in this Guilty Gear Strive, because like Tubo was saying, it was better than his experiences on KI, which is crazy. So
far better.
Very impressive.
It's not like there's nothing that can compare to Strive's netcode.
Right.
But
That's
anyways,
incredible.
on a new. We talked about that enough.
We did talk about that quite a bit. So let's talk about the announcements, like you said. Let's talk about Ino first. Yes, Ino is the last character. She leaked just a little bit before, but I was able to avoid that spoiler. Okay. Huzzah! And I was really happy to see her. I mean, again, I'm no gearhead specifically, but I think she looks super cool.
I was disappointed when she got leaked.
She's so cool looking.
But then the trailer came out, and I was like, oh my god, this character is dope. So I got excited again. But at first I was like, I wanted someone like that was never playable before.
Right.
Okay.
I wanted
somebody new.
Whatever. Yeah. Somebody from the Gear universe.
Right,
whatever.
right.
Okay.
But yeah, she looks super cool. I'm not upset anymore.
I mean,
she looks cool.
Allow me to be horny on Maine for a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
Oh my god! Like, holy crap! I've never really been into Ino like that before, but she has the glasses now. She's got the glasses now, and
is that your thing, James? Do you just reveal your kink live on stream,
dude? I've done this on my own stream, dude. I talk about the glasses thing all the time. This is why Quistis is my Final Fantasy waifu. Kyoko is my fighting game waifu. It's the glasses, dude. I'm telling you.
You heard it here first, ladies. Just put on some glasses and James is all over you.
I've heard it many times before. This is not the first time.
Yeah, so, glasses is definitely the thing. So now that she's got the glasses, I was like, oh my god, she looks so good now. So
we all have glasses, I just realized.
Yeah.
How about that?
Well,
we already know how James feels about you and I.
Yeah. That's right. Anyway, she does look super sick. What do you think about her as far as...
Yeah, no, I was about to say, gameplay-wise, it looks like she has a lot of her old shit in there. It looks like, and she even had news, like, she's never been able to cancel jumping dust into another jumping thing, so she did, like, she's been able to do like triple overheads before, but off dust was always the last one. Like if you blocked dust, it was, unless there was a Roman cancel, you were kind of safe to start crouch blocking. But it looked like she had one more thing after that, and almost part of me makes me want to think that maybe some of the characters will get crazier by the time, you know, the actual game comes out. So,
I mean, we haven't seen any of Anji's stuff either. We don't know what happens after a block butterfly happens, you know? Like, we have no idea, so... He could have some wild shit too.
She looks really cool. Again, anyway, obviously we've said it before, but this game is basically the most beautiful video game.
Yeah, ever, period.
So that was cool. Whatever, there's some Blaze Blue gotcha. I don't know. Whatever, moving on. There's a new character for Tekken 7. The Polish Prime Minister is in Tekken. I'll make believe Polish Prime Minister. She's not actually the Polish Prime Minister, but what a choice! I
haven't even seen this yet, but okay, great.
It's like all you really get to see is that she's walking out of a car, and it's a woman. That's like the extent of the info. Like you didn't see any gameplay or anything. It's just what a choice to go with. Like the leader of a country for this. I mean, it's so weird.
One of the nice things,
like a real country too, like in the real world.
One of the nice things about it, though, is that, you know, Harada was saying that, you know, they work very hard to contact a bunch of people in Poland, and they're trying very, you know, make sure that the names are real, kind of like they did with Fakumran, you know, and like they're just trying to make it as authentically and honest to the Polish culture as possible. So I think that's cool, but I'm sure that probably won't matter much. So
anyway, yeah, there's just really not that much to say about this character because we don't know almost anything except for that.
I just learned about her literally right now. I didn't see anybody tweeting about it.
Yeah. Well, because the trailer's literally, here's real life footage of Poland. Here's more real life footage of Poland. Here's a CG car, here's a computer graphics car, door opens, legs come out. You see the bottom half of a chick saying, okay, we'll do this. And then that's it. It's like literally a 30-second trailer with 5 seconds of footage of her, basically, so that you can't even see her face. So it's basically doesn't happen.
No gameplay.
Yeah.
In SNK's news, they announced Chizuru in KOF 15.
Yeah, this is...
She looks cool.
This is neat because this kind of, like when Joe came out, everyone's like, how does Joe and Iori fit together as a team? This doesn't make sense. Then they revealed Kyo, and they didn't have a team at the end. And so everyone's like, oh, I guess they're not doing it by team order. Then they released Chizuru, and Chizuru, Kyo, and Iori have finally formed the Sacred Treasures team, because canonically they are a team. They've never actually been a team in the game, but like plot-wise, they've joined together because they're all guardians of the sacred treasures, and they took out Orochi in the ending of KOF 14, and finally they're on a team together. So for KOF fans, this is huge and a very big deal, and really, really exciting to have the Sacred Treasures team finally be a thing, and I think that that's actually cool.
Don't punch your mic, James.
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't realize that there was that kind of backstory to it. I appreciate the insight.
Yeah, KOF. I mean, the one thing you
can I know there's a big story. I just don't know.
You can say anything you want about KOF. Their story is pretty solid. I mean,
to quote Hanzo Gonzo, do people really give a fuck? That's what he asked.
Some people do, yeah.
But, and everybody answered him, yeah, people care, you nerd.
Yeah, I mean, like, ever since I started rooming with Olaf, like, I've learned all these things, like, characters don't show up in certain years because, like, Goro Daimon had a kid, so he didn't show up for 2 years because he was raising his kid, you know? Chizuru hasn't been in a game since, like, 11 or some long time ago, because she
2003 I think.
Yeah, Ash literally ripped the sacred treasure out of her, so she's just been injured the whole entire time, and so she hasn't been able to come back until now finally. So, you know, their storyline is really consistent and stuff, and it's actually kind of neat. I mean, if you like that thing, I like how Street Fighter stories are all kind of stupid and just like disparate and whatever. But if you are a lore buff, KOF is 100% your game. So
that's cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Cham trailer for Sam Show. What'd you think?
I mean,
she's cute.
Looks as adorable as she did in the previous trailer.
Yeah, she's cute.
Which is kind of weird because Cham in Samurai Shodown 2, she was kind of fierce. Like when she threw stuff, she would have angry faces on, and like when she would claw you to death. Now she looks almost overly adorable, and it's kind of weird in a way, but she looks cool. She looks cool.
Samurai Shodown cross Guilty Gear?
You know what's amazing?
Also announced, kind of.
It's fully announced.
I mean, it is. We just don't know what it is.
Right? Yeah. I just think it's incredible that they're taking a character from a game series you can play literally anyone in the world and putting them into another game series where you can't play someone sitting 50 feet away from you if it's online. So that's really brave of them to do that, just to really that's a crossover that I thought I'd never see. So
woo, spicy. So people are speculating.
Also, it very much has to be Baiken. She's the only samurai, and she's got boobies.
Not the only samurai.
Is she not? I thought she was only samurai in Guilty Gear.
Guess what? Yuki is a playable character.
True, that's true.
I don't have any insight to this. I just was like, that's not the only samurai.
I mean, so here's the thing, right? Baiken makes the most sense because one, she would fit in there. Two, she would sell the most, right? Like without question, right? I personally, my pick would be Cliff from Guilty Gear, which of course doesn't really make sense because who's Cliff? Like he won't spur any sort of excitement. But just having a little dude with the gigantic ass sword, I think would be neat to put in there. I don't think Johnny would fit in there because we already gonna have two people with that sword fighting style in Ukyo and Hibiki. But lore wise, Axel would make the most sense because he can time travel. And so he would just show up as Axel, and that would make sense lore-wise, right? But lore-wise, Nakaruru also time traveled to the King of Fighters universe. And at no point in Samurai Shodown is she going, guys, there are these things in the future called cars. But, so I don't think they're going to care about lore. I really think it's going to be Baiken because that's just going to make them the most money. I think
that's the obvious choice.
Yeah, that's going to make them the most money for sure.
She's not even in Guilty Gear.
Well, yet.
They have a lot of substitute waifus in there right now already, so... And I'm talking about the whole cast, okay? Because as much as I talk about Ino that way, I mean, like, I will say the same shit about characters like Nagoriyuki and Zato, dude. Like, they just made everybody so incredibly beautiful in this game. Like,
definitely.
I can never stop talking about how attractive Nagoriyuki is as a character, and I think that's super
They nailed it.
Yeah.
No doubt about that.
We're out of time here. Do we have any more news we can go through?
We did, actually. There's going to be FEXL Another Dash coming out for Arika for the Nintendo Switch. There's a bunch of changes to the game. No more decks. No, the new mechanics as well. Balance changes for the characters. It won't start out with rollback. Oh, boy.
James broke everything.
We're playing Switch.
You want to play some Ring Fit Adventure here?
I mean,
Ring Fit. I've heard it's good. I
watched James play it at Frosty's.
Okay.
He was in his boxers. This is the real story, guys.
This James?
James Chen, yeah.
Oh, wow. Sick.
We were rooming together, and he's like, hey, I got my Ring Fit. I was like, oh, play it. I've never seen it before. And James played Ring Fit in his boxers.
Quite a privilege.
That's real life.
So, this will not have rollback, I read. It will have instead something called backstep interrupt. I don't know what to make of that, but I hope that's good as well. There's going to be more info coming for this April 1st. If you recall, it was the first FEXL was announced on April 1st.
Yep.
As like kind of an April Fool's or whatever. So it's kind of cool that it's coming. More info is coming out on April 1st again.
For sure.
There you go.
Moving on.
Moving on, indeed. Other game news. Not a lot to say, but some stuff. So there's a Granblue patch. I wish we could speak to this, but I don't think any of us has kept up with the game well enough to really be able to tell you what's going on.
Absolutely not.
But there is a Granblue patch. It's patch 2.40. There's new story content as well as a bunch of changes to the characters.
I did see that Ebonic Plague was talking about it, and he said that the changes were pretty. Not, I don't want to say significant, but it wasn't just like small. But I don't know. Like I said, it was just very, very brief that I was looking through his Twitter. So.
Okay. Well, yeah. Again, our bad for not really having much to report on that front, but I wish that game the best.
Yeah, same.
Everybody's favorites: Pyra, it was pronounced, and Mythra in Smash Ultimate. Your favorite character, Tupperware, I can see as you're giving her the thumbs
Sword
down.
Character. Yay. So much fun to see all these sword characters in Smash.
Okay, but she does have the ability to swap between each other mid-match.
Oh, sick. That's never been done in Smash before.
Never been done in Smash before. And she definitely has a counter of some kind as well. You can see in the footage as a sword character.
Look, Callisto has been joking about putting those characters into Smash for years, and suddenly it's happened, and he was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's actually happened. So there you go. I don't even know what they're from.
I literally Googled it, dude. As soon as that they announced those characters, I was like, I've never heard of these before in my life. And it's from Xenogear.
It is.
It's not. It's actually from Xenoblade.
Yeah.
It's from Xenoblade.
Xenoblade, stuff.
Oh, man.
Anyway, I hope that's cool, I guess. And then just announced right before we went on the air, so I haven't really had a chance to read through this, but there's going to be a Skullgirls season pass.
There is. That's wild. Like, I don't play the game. I'm super happy to hear that.
Definitely.
Someone said that's going to include 4 characters, I saw in the chat.
4 characters, yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So this will be Skullgirls Second Encore Season 1 Pass is the phrasing on the website as well. Season 1 Pass. DLC Annie, then TBA characters 2, 3, and 4. Then exclusive palette pack. These are all included in the Season Pass, I should say. Skullgirls OST, including the new Annie track, Skullgirls Digital Art Compendium, fully updated. And then it says, under future characters, although character 2, 3, and 4 have already been chosen, ! 3, we are exploring ways in which players who have purchased the Season Pass can contribute to the DLC character release order, e.g. via some form of voting system. And then depending on how well the Annie DLC and Season Pass does, we hope to add even more free stuff to the Season Pass, up to and including a 5th brand new character.
Wow. Okay.
There's also going to be a balance patch and even more. So this is $9.99 for Skullgirls Second Encore, and then Season 1 Pass is $29.99.
Dude, Rick, the Hotto says in chat, they have been releasing characters for so long they had to specifically say they aren't able to support the PS Vita anymore.
Wow.
Sorry, we aren't making the update for your outdated console anymore.
Yeah.
PS Vita.
That also included PS3 and Xbox 360, though, so those players are not going to get those updates either.
Can I get it on the N-Gauge?
No, definitely not.
Bummer. Okay.
God. How am I gonna? I was hoping to play these new characters on my end. God, I can't believe you even I don't even know if anybody in the chat here even remembers what the N-Gauge is at this point.
I thought the N-Gauge was the future when I was a kid.
Did you really? I didn't think anybody thought the N-Gauge was the future.
I was like 9 when it came out or whatever, man. I was a child.
But it kind of was. It just wasn't well done.
Yeah,
but video games on your cell phone actually are huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're still not like what... Because, I mean, obviously, like, for example, no one is ever going to be able to make Tetris properly on the mobile platform, so...
The taco. I do not have an N-Gauge. I never had an N-Gauge.
No, yeah,
you had to hold that thing sideways to your head.
You did. It was a sideways phone.
Yeah, it was the stupidest thing.
Okay, all right. I don't know why I brought this up.
How did they design that? Oh.
Very poorly. Yeah. Well, do we have anything else on this?
I do not. Just want to, again, as you said, I want to reiterate, so cool for Skullgirls to continue to have good news after
it's really
a lot of bad news from Lab Zero.
What a way to recover.
Can you remind me what their new studio is called again? Anybody? You guys are in the chat. I just want to make sure because I want to make sure that I highlight the new studio name and such, and I just can't remember what it is off the. It's like Harvest or something.
I have no clue.
I think that's the publisher, but I don't remember what the new. Do they have a new dev name?
Hidden Variable. Hidden
Variable.
There you go. Thank you. So the HV was there in my head for Harvest. So there you go. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, there's a lot of info here. But I think we got most of it out. Hopefully I haven't missed anything here. Yeah, Hidden Variable and Autumn Games.
Okay, got it.
Got it. The pub side of that. All right, cool. Yeah, let's move on.
Future Club as well. So there you go. All right. This is interesting. I hadn't heard anything about this in community news. You had typed in Smash World Tour.
Sure did.
What is
Smash
that?
World Tour was re-announced. What is it? It is kind of what it sounds like, I guess. There's a sort of world tour. They had it planned. We talked about it last year because they had plans to do this in 2020 as well. That didn't happen. Naturally, as you all know, everything blew up. But they are still at least doing some stuff. So my understanding of this is that it will be there will be circuits for both Melee and Ultimate. Okay. Ultimate will have players chosen by online qualifiers, but Melee will actually have them by community panel. And presumably this is so that they're not playing on Dolphin or anything else that would upset Nintendo, right? So they're instead just having it chosen by community panel. Let me know. Curly, you know what's going on here? That makes sense to me. Let me know if I'm wrong about any of this. And then there's going to be regional competitions in person at some point. And then there's going to be $150,000 up for grabs at the finals.
Huh.
So that's a ton. Wow. And if... I don't know if Nintendo's involved in this. My guess is no. So 150K is just raised by the scene, by VGBC maybe, whoever is doing this. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, that is dope. Good for Smash.
Are they actually doing Smash Ultimate online? Because I thought the netcode was like not really doable, or is it doable?
I don't think it's great, but
not good. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Okay, so it's doable. Okay.
Oh, no, actually, Curly, we did not talk about WePlay. I forgot to write that down. My B. Oh,
How did Curly W get a gift sub and then lose the Ultra Chen banner? That's weird.
You can pick on Twitch what you want to show.
Oh, okay. So Curly W just doesn't like us then. We'll see how it is.
Understood.
It's all good.
He wants to appear to be a pleb.
Okay.
Hey, if you got a link to that WePlay stuff, give it, because I don't remember all that it was. That was announced like while I was doing.
There's Soul Calibur and there's Mortal Kombat and there's
correct
another game, Tekken.
Yeah, Tekken is what it is.
Yeah. They're doing it. They're doing it big at WePlay, and it's gonna be great to go watch the tournaments. That's all the information we have.
When is it? Tubbleware?
I don't know, but you know who does know is Curly W. Just put that link in the chat. So we can pull that information up. It's going to be in March, April.
Thanks, Tubbleware.
But
You're
also
welcome.
another $150,000 prize pool. Mortal Kombat will be March 25th through 28th, and Soul Calibur will be the 1st through the 4th. And then Tekken 7 will be April 8th through the 11th. So 3 weekends in a row, it sounds like. Well, actually, that's not even weekends, right? Because 25th to the 1st is less than a week, maybe? Oh, maybe it is. But yeah, there you go. So 3 weeks of fighting game stuff from WePlay, who just ran the Mortal Kombat event that received high praise. So hopefully they'll keep doing cool things. Apparently, this will also be in Ukraine.
Yeah, this will be held at the WePlay Esports Arena, Kyiv. They'll be taking a bunch of safety measures again. So the participants will be, let's see, it says, with the start of WePlay Ultimate Fighting League still being a month away, keep your eyes peeled for the complete list of players and broadcast talent in the coming weeks. So I guess they're going to be inviting, it's an invitation-only format.
Mm-hmm.
Due to the current state of the world and safety precautions we created, we have each title as a 16-player invite-only tournament.
Okay.
Let's see. We have a multi-year plan for the league, and this is just the beginning. I know many of you want to showcase your skills and have a chance to compete in the biggest and best fighting game league you have seen. I promise you will have that chance, says James Banks, who's working for them. But for now, again, it's just going to be an invitational. Yeah, I mean, again, that's the times that we live in. Right. But that's great. That's a lot. $150,000 as well for that one. Pretty sick.
Not bad.
Thank you for reminding me. I don't know how I forgot to put that one up here. Jeez.
You had one job, David.
I had only one job. That's true.
Just remember that.
I have like 4 businesses that I'm working on. All right. I guess that's that for that side. I just wanted to shout out the Mortal Kombat Pro Competition. You know, they have not been covered very well for some reason. I haven't seen it like on event hubs or Top Tier or Shoryuken, which, you know, nominally exists, I guess, but isn't doing that much. I haven't seen that much about it, but they're killing it. They got 1,000 entrants for the NA event last time. They have over 100 people even for Oceania, which is a smaller scene, and they have many hundreds for all the others. So it's super cool. I don't know why it's not getting as much press, but if you're an MK fan, like, I think it's super cool to have every single week pro level players. I mean, the MK scene has a lot of stuff going on. Like, there's great community run events every single week as well. So there's like, you're not lacking for stuff to watch or stuff to compete in if that's what you're interested in. But again, yeah, just shout them out because I think they're doing great work. And for whatever reason, I'm not really hearing that much about it from other sources.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, over 1,000 for NA East. That's not even for North America. Like, that's just the eastern part of North America last time. And then this coming weekend is going to be North America again as well. So we'll see how much they get. I bet it's going to be a ton of people again. Yeah. Brazil's getting huge numbers for sure. Anyway, I just wanted to give them the good old shout out there. And then closing this segment with bad news is I feel like we've been doing too often over the last couple of months. But,
the world right now.
It absolutely does. That's for sure. Marquette Yarborough, aka Mick, passed away. Apparently in a homicide, was murdered is the report. That's currently being investigated, but that's terrible news. So not somebody I knew personally, but definitely I'd heard of. Strong old school player in Soul Calibur and in Tekken, and you know, was a pillar of the Memphis scene and Southern scene in general, and was a mentor to a lot of players. I saw a bunch of people posting up afterward that he was a mentor to them, including like very top level current players like Zephykai and Lil Majin in different games, right? So a guy who had a really big impact on the scene and taken way too soon. He was only 38 is what I read.
Yeah, we have a GoFundMe link by any chance? We have the GoFundMe link?
We do.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll put that in the chat right now, and then I will put that again in the YouTube video. Yeah, no, that's terrible news. I mean, I don't know what you say, right? Condolences to everybody who knew him, all of his family and friends. Terrible stuff. Vandy set up this GoFundMe, and it's raised 13,000. They're looking for 15 just to help his family out, right? It all goes to the family. None of it's taken by anybody else. So if you can, I know, again, it's just like Tubwar said, it's been a tough time in many different ways, and I feel like have been putting up GoFundMes almost every single week. But if it's something that you can afford to do, something that you're interested in, please give them some dough as well. All right, let's move on to the next part.
Sorry.
It's all good. There's no
I couldn't find it
rush
on the
at
Windows bar. Okay, yeah, there we go. Okay, here we go.
No rush at this stage. We're down to the mailbag questions. We didn't do a 5-5. No, I see people in the chat talking about it. There just was too much stuff to talk about today. So we did get questions sent to us, and I'll just roll those over into the questions for next week.
For sure.
So thanks to everybody for giving us questions. It's just, boy, we're already late right now as is, without even having done that. So, all right, let's get through these mailbag questions. Shay asks, you will be trapped in a cell for the rest of your life with a fighting game character, a non-fighting game character, and a celebrity in real life of your choice. Who are they?
Wow.
Who would be a nice fighting game character? Who would I get along with? I bet E Honda's a blast to hang out with. I'm going with E Honda.
Honda.
Yeah, we would just eat. All he wants to do is like go to his public bathhouse and do whatever it is he does there. He seems really into it. That'd probably be fun.
So what were the categories? A celebrity,
a fighting game character, and a non-fighting game character.
so like a game character that's not a fighting game character. I mean, honestly, like I feel like depending on what their abilities are, like if I named a fighting game character, it would be like, can Dalsum teleport other people? You know, like if he's holding on to him, right? If not, then I would choose like Superman because he's from a fighting game. I won't be trapped in the jail for very long, you know.
Genius. I'm absolutely into it. You're thinking outside the box here, very literally.
If I'm not gonna like skirt the rules, I want to hang out with like, I don't know, probably like Rash.
Rash seems like a cool guy.
Yeah, I probably want to hang out with Rash. And then I have to pick a fighting game character, so probably Deadpool.
What are you doing with these picks?
And then I have to pick a select. They're both fighting game characters and not fighting game characters.
Yeah, I understand.
All right, fine. So for my non-skirting the issue, it's going to be Kyoko, Quistis, and I'll have to think of the celebrity. Who's my celebrity crush?
Still horny on man, we see.
Yeah, who's my
Who's
celebrity
just a
crush?
cool person? I would just want to hang out with somebody cool. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just trying to kick it with the party boys. And then celebrity, probably like Keanu Reeves. He seems like a good dude.
You're
He
gonna
seems like a
put
good
Keanu
dude.
Reeves in jail? God.
You see how many people he murdered in whatchamacallit?
John Wick.
John Wick. He's murdered so many people. He should be locked up forever.
I got news for you. That wasn't a documentary, actually. It was a fictional movie.
I want my money back.
Yeah, fictional film, turns out. I don't know any celebrities. Who am I even supposed to say? I don't know any singers.
Some like famous lawyer or something. Whatever you like, you nerd.
What if I just said Kenny Omega? Because Kenny Omega is really awesome.
There you go. That works.
That would be fun.
It's just
I'm sure we would have a good time.
I don't want to put Kenny Omega in jail either. You know, it's just.
Yeah, that's true. You are dragging them with you.
Yeah.
Although to be fair, Kenny Omega probably could also bust us out.
Yeah, maybe I should pick somebody who I think sucks so that I could remove them from the world. And it would be hard times for me, but everybody else would be better off, so maybe that's fine.
Yeah.
Well, David, looks like you're bunking with Trump.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking one for the team, buddy.
Is it worth it? I don't know.
Well, let me tell you this, David. It would be worth it for you because I can assure you he would be the greatest cellmate ever. There would be no other cellmate as great as him. He would just be fantastic. He would be amazing. Greatest cellmate that you've ever had in a prison.
Wrong. That actually is a great answer. I'm going to go with Donald Trump.
Okay.
All right.
All right, next question.
Taking it for the team. All right. Hey Ghost asks, what is the weirdest or most awkward moment you've ever had at a fighting game event? For me, it's every time anybody asks me for my autograph or for something like that. And I appreciate it every time simultaneously. It's like, I don't want to say no. That's super cool. And it's like, on one hand, really great that somebody would think to ask me. But on the other hand, not weird.
Is it more or less awkward when I walk up next to you and go, wait, are you the Ultra David? While you're signing an autograph. What's more awkward? If I do that or if I don't do that?
Well, you do it every single time. I don't even know that I have an experience of signing an autograph without Tupperware being like, are you
100 yards away signing an autograph? I'm going to fucking sprint.
Absolutely.
I'm going to be out of breath and sweaty and, are you Ultra David?
Yeah, I think that's probably the answer.
For me, my answer...
Again, I don't mean to sound ungrateful. It's just... I don't know. Anyway, move on.
For me, it might be at B3 actually. B3 when everybody was talking about this dude from Canada, Vi and John Choi as the greatest players with the potential chance to win. And it turned out another Canadian player was actually super good. And somebody asked me, this is the first time we had seen a lot of these guys play because this is B3, right? And someone asked me, so what do you think of the like these players so far? And I was like, dude, Alex Vi is obviously super good. That guy from Canada is also really good too. John Choi had been knocked to losers bracket as he normally does. And I was like, I just don't know about John Choi. Like, he doesn't seem that strong neck to me. And then I turn and John Choi is staying there looking at me. And I was like, hey, what do you think? And yeah, that might be one of the more awkward moments that I had. So, yeah.
I'm curious. I don't know the story of this guy from Canada. Who's the guy from Canada?
Well, there was one guy from Canada who talked a lot on AJSF2, and he showed up, and he wasn't as strong as one of the other guys who would talk shit about that guy on AGSF2, saying he's not actually that good. Like, I don't know why, blah, 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 blah. And so everyone was like, well, these guys are haters. They're trolls or whatever like that, right? This guy is clearly very good. And the guy showed up. He wasn't as strong, and the other guy actually was stronger, but, it's...
Okay. What do you got? Tubbo.
Yeah.
One time, I have a lot of embarrassing stories at tournaments, both including myself and other people.
Yeah,
but
I know many of them.
At Combo Breaker, I sat down and I was talking to, I want to say Kizzy K. And I had just heard that Beautiful Dude got perfected on stream. So I was talking to Kizzy K. I was like, yo, did you see Beautiful Dude get bopped? And then I look over. Julian's just sitting there listening to me, just making fun of him just getting wrecked. And I look over, I'm like, dude, you got bodied. And he was just like,
yeah.
But I had no idea. I just had the same face. I had no idea that he was on the other side of Kizzy. So
I was gonna say your idea of saving face in that situation is definitely double downing.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I knew the whole time. Hey, you suck.
Yeah. For me, when I said that to John, I was like,
Right. All right. Very good. Zisu asks, meta question. Some people watch the Tuesday show live, some people on YouTube, some listen to the podcast. How do they compare in terms of audience? Probably YouTube gets the most overall, I guess, eventually, but maybe, I don't know, it's either YouTube or Twitch. Yeah. Have we thought about working more on podcast content? Yeah, we've thought about it. I don't know that it really makes sense for our schedules. I think that's kind of what we came up with, but it's something we had thought about for sure.
I mean, we did for a little bit. Like, I was throwing the generation spacing stuff on there. I was throwing the Chen reaction stuff, but then my sleep schedule died, and so all that kind of went away. But, and I know Tubo had to go to sleep early. We couldn't keep him up until 1 a.m. doing generation spacing anymore.
I have to work now.
What's that?
I have to work now. I have a job.
Drem at Poogly Woogly asks, what fighting game special move sounds like the tastiest food or drink?
What the heck?
Any tortilla bomb. Anything that El Fuerte does, right?
It's El Fuerte. Okay. All right.
I mean, maybe.
Guacamole.
There's
I don't know what guacamole is, but he sells it, I guess. I don't know.
There's always the Blanca roll, the beast roll. There's the dragon punch, which would probably be pretty tasty as well.
All right, what about Honda's butt? The butt.
I mean, some people are into that.
I'm into that.
All right. David eats butt. I mean, we did see you eat Jasmine's butt.
That's true.
Fact.
That is true.
So,
yeah.
Fact. FatCat321 asks, which UCTV member would make it the furthest in a cooking competition?
Me, free.
This is a true story, I made chicken and Israeli couscous and a whole soup based on that the other day. It was actually incredible. It was nicely spiced. I had some cayenne in there, which was really good. I had a bunch of black pepper. You know, I had a bunch of vegetables in there. We had carrots, and there were some raisins in there, and there were some tomatoes in there. It was actually awesome. I feel like my ceiling as a chef is pretty good, but I typically don't care enough to do it. Like usually I'll just make some crappy pasta or something, but I feel like I got a decent ability if I care to use it.
Yeah, for me, my technical skills when it comes to cooking is actually amazing. I just don't have a lot of recipes. Like the first time I tried to cook bacon for myself, I was like, oh my God, this like bacon is amazing. Like I made it super crispy. It was like really great. And then I could make some of the best roux out there that I've ever seen. So, which is the flour and oil mix that you use for the start of a gumbo dish. That investigation cone taught me how to make one time, and you're supposed to cook it so it's like the color of a penny, and like seriously, like mine was like perfect color. It wasn't burned. It smelled amazing. My gumbo was amazing and everything. And so I know a couple of these Chinese dishes that I make every once in a while. Like I'm a natural at it. However, like I said, I just don't have enough recipes. That's what would hold me back. But if you make me cook something, I can cook it pretty damn good, like almost instantaneously. So
the truth is that cooking is really easy as long as you just follow the directions.
Yeah.
And when I made that stuff the other night, it was just because my wife had sent me a recipe and she was like, "Hey, you want to make this?" And I was like, "Sounds cool, actually." Yeah. So I tried it out. And it came out awesomely. First of all, everybody in the chat who's saying raisins don't belong in that, you are not right about that. There needs to be some sweetness in something like that, and it was awesome. But all you got to do is follow directions. Baking is difficult because it's like really precise, but just regular cooking.
See, that's
inventing is difficult, okay? But just following a recipe, it's just an order of operations.
See, I think that means that you've only cooked easy stuff before. That's the thing.
Negative.
So I think that there is a lot of difficulty in cooking. I've seen my brother try to cook in college. I know cooking can be very hard, no matter how you try to follow the recipes.
Easy.
Oh man.
Easy.
I think
you guys don't know what cooked raisins are like? You in the chat, if you are saying things like raisins don't belong and that sort of thing, or raisins can't end up sweet, you got to step up your own game.
All right, Tubo, what's your argument for yourself?
Honestly, I only have 1:35 to do it. But my argument is basically what David said. If you can follow a recipe, you can cook.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that difficult. There are some dishes that are going to be really hard. I think presentation and plating are what separate the standard, Monday night cook from the next guy. And my presentation and plating is fantastic.
Okay.
So I feel like my visuals would maybe beat you guys, but as far as like tasting of the food, we're all just going to be following an internet recipe.
Well, see, that's so. Who would make it the furthest in a cooking competition? Usually, those are you have to invent your recipe. In which case, I lose.
And see,
I'm out.
And there,
I can't do it.
I would probably win because I don't follow a recipe for anything I cook. I just do everything off the cuff because that's how Chinese people cook. One time, someone asked me because I put
that's how everybody cooks. I just want you to know. But okay.
I put sugar into my pasta. I've told this story before, and my friend one time was like, "I want to make your spaghetti for my wife. So how much sugar do you put in there?" And I was like, "A lot." And they're like, "Okay, but how much?" I'm like, "I just put it in there." And they're like, "Okay, fine. The container cup that you use, how big is the cup for that? And how many of them do you put in there?" I'm like, "I pour it out of the box." Like, so I have that power of cooking. When I cook, it's not measured. It's just I can make it, and I make it right because I'm skilled and godlike. That's it.
You're a genius. Congratulations.
No, I mean, Mukin even says Chinese moms don't use recipes. Yeah, we use recipes as much as we use dishwashers.
Dude, I always think it's hilarious when you say things like this because the fact is that like nobody's mom uses a recipe. my mom and grandma had never used recipes. They just knew what to do. I'm sure it's the case for every culture. Like it's not so unique. Nobody else is like, I gotta follow the recipe. No, it's eventually you know what the recipes are. You can make it up.
Well, I can tell you that white people are like that, so...
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that sucks.
Midwestern white moms, they're following that old cookbook they got from 1963.
Bummer.
Yeah.
Last one is Echo asks, as a competitor or commentator, what's your most Mars rover successful touchdown moment? Congratulations to everybody involved with the Mars rover. Super cool. AKA tons of effort paying off in a single climatic moment. What have I put so much effort into on commentary? I feel like commentary, the role is typically not like I need to put a lot of effort into it. It's like the match is great, so I'm following along. Like the players are putting in sick effort, but I don't know that my role is that really.
I mean,
I don't know. What do you guys think?
To kind of answer that question, mine was the year that Mena RD won Capcom Cup. That whole entire weekend, every time Itazan or Nemo showed up on stream, I kept making jokes about their rivalry, and I would be like, "Oh, Itazan, he's so happy he's not playing Nemo." Every time Nemo showed up, I was like, "He's not, he's happy." And I got people tweeting at me and stuff like, "Why do you keep mentioning it? That rivalry is so not a big deal." And then in top 8, Nemo beat Itazan and walked up to him and did this.
Yeah.
And that, like right there, everybody who did not know about that rivalry beforehand, who was told about it, and it paid off in that one moment. And I think that was probably one of my greatest commentary moments that paid off in a single climactic moment.
That's super cool, actually. Yeah, that's true.
That's a good one. Mm-hmm. I definitely don't have.
Yeah.
I mean, I have favorite moments that have happened to me and things that I've earned. But it wasn't like this triumphant boom. It was more like, hey, I did it, and no one else probably cares that I did it, but I did it. It was, it wasn't like noticeable. It was like got hired to do Evo, top 8 at yada yada. Those are my triumphant things.
Right.
Like I can think of moments where I think I did a really good job, but that's not, I think, really what this is asking for. Yeah. But I think James's example is really good.
Like that one, perfect. And also, honestly, I always bring it up, but me and David doing that Snake Eyes versus Justin grand finals, that was super boring for everybody there, but at home, everybody was hyped because we made it. We told the story and what they were trying to do really, really well. That was always will be one of my favorite things, because we turned a boring match exciting, so I was really happy about that.
For sure. Mm-hmm. All right, well, there you go. That's the mailbag for today. Again, we didn't do a 5-5 matchup. We will roll those questions over into next week, so thanks for submitting them anyway. Just had too much to talk about, and we ended up going for 3 hours anyway, so okay. All righty.
Oh.
Well, burn them.
Bird.
At some point in time, and maybe someone out there, I mean, let us know if you do try to do something like this. We should get a new Bird song, just because I'm like, is this copyrighted technically?
It definitely is. We've never been busted on it, but it's somebody owns the copyright, yeah.
Right. But
come at us. We have a lawyer.
Come at me.
I mean, at some point we should probably change it to something else, but whatever.
Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right. She is pretty cool.
Can leave the word cool off at the end of there, so.
Heyo.